Check 1, 2, mic check. Is it still up or no?
This leader is provided to permit the projectionist to complete adjustment
Check 1,
of
2,
focus
check 1,
and
2,
sound
mic check.
level before the film begins.
Sound a little dehydrated. I don't know if I like this chair either.
This leader is provided to permit the projectionist to complete adjustment of...
Save that. Do it. I wonder if people took their profit yesterday or not. Good morning, good morning. How's it going out there? How's everybody doing out there? Good morning. All right, there you are, brother.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Hey, so this is so if you've never met David in person or via video, or you've just heard of him, this is David AMS. Now he works with Bookmap, and he's a long time, or I don't know how long he's been trading, but at least 5 years, maybe longer. But I met David. Now he can talk about this in a minute. I met David 3 or 5 years ago, and we were in a trading group together, a private trading group in a private room. I think it was $600 or $1,000 a month or something insane. When it was all said and done, it was like $1,000 a month or something. And yeah, David and I traded together, right? Yeah, David trade the nighttime, and I'd trade the morning. We'd get together in the morning and discuss what he thought the nighttime was, and I'd say what I expected during the day. And it was like a morning brief from David. And then we'd check in with each other sometimes in a day as well. I'd try to send him a DM, and he'd send me DMs. And when in these trading rooms, if there was a pit, it was usually him and I in that pit trading together. And
the rest had no idea what they were doing. I think it was weird.
And so that's how we got to know each other. And we fell apart, and I wasn't no longer a part of that trading group. I ended up going on my own. A year later, I was like, man, if he could ever come our way. So I reached out to him, I think, or I forgot to, or I couldn't find his name, and then I finally found his name like a year or two later. And I was like, if we can get David with us, with our group, it's going to be fucking nothing but net positive. And he reached back out to me, and I was like, I got to get on my hands and knees and beg and plead to have some David in our lives. And he's been there for us every day since. He spends his time in our Discord, in our futures channel, spends a lot of time with John L. And those guys are trying to crack the market together. It's wild. And if you don't know who this guy is, this is David AMS. Follow him on Twitter, follow him on Discord, and I'll let him take it away from here. So go ahead, David.
You're not going to get much from me from Twitter. I'm actually sort of pretty quiet on social media front, doing much with it. But yeah, no, but we were together in the trading room with Bob Kendall when we started. And I think we left at the same time, and then sort of went on our own journeys to figure out, because like I started trading during COVID or right before COVID. And yeah, we were trying to figure out how the markets worked and those kind of things. And then, in the end, my journey was quite long, and I used to work a lot with Bookmap, but now I don't use any of that anymore, actually. So because it's all distractions really for me. It's creating biases. Well, you shouldn't, trade based on where you see a red band on the liquidity. And then About a year and a half ago, I stumbled across ICT as trading system, and I had my own system in place, and I was profitable, but I wanted to optimize it. So I was always looking to see how, to get things done properly. Sorry, I'm being distracted by this pussy here. She's like nagging me for food, but so she's joining the stream. Yeah, so I started to work with that system about a year ago, and that was like the big game changer for me in that sense, where I started to look at the market at a completely different way. And yeah, not going back, doing it ever since. So now, like, I just wait for specific setups to unfold at specific times of day, and then if it shows up, it shows up, and if it doesn't, I stay out. So, and in the meantime, I tend to scalp when I know it's heading towards a certain direction, or when I expect a specific reversal to occur at a specific time. I will take the other side of whatever is happening, because the market is actually not really moving on like buying and selling. In my opinion, it's moving based on where liquidity is located at, such as stops. So there are basically three things I keep an eye on, and those are recent swing highs and lows, and the midpoint, and the midnight open for New York time is a very important area for me to work from. And yeah, these setups, like you just said, I'm waiting for a specific setup to develop between like 12 o'clock New York time and about 1:30, but it only happens in certain market conditions, and like today is not a good one to do it because we are obviously trending. And when I see these big hourly candles, like
Yep.
going that big, I stay out. I'm not going to pick a top or a bottom in that case. However, like in situations where you have like a sell-off going off, and like, for example, if we reach that specific low, or that I had marked up previously at noon, I will mean revert it back, because it doesn't really matter what state the market is in. For some reason at that time, there's always a draw on liquidity back to where stops are located at. And even if it's if it's going to continue downtrending in a specific direction, they will take out those stops first before they continue to move the market down on exceptional basis, or in like, it doesn't, maybe it happens once a month or something like that. It will continue without like adhering to the rules, but the setup does show up like 3 or 4 times a week at least. And that's all you need, because like you get 10 points, 15 points, and if you manage to to position yourself in the right options, you can get big gains. And a lot of times you will get like the high or low of the day to be made at that point. And yeah, and like where I make most of my money is really in the London Open, because there's a specific setup that always happens. There's a range that is set during the Asian session, and in London they will always go back to either the Asian high or the Asian low,
the Asian
and
low.
then go back to the mid. Yeah. So and I don't care if it goes further or if I'm in it or not. I'm quite nimble in what I get. I can get more out of it, and that's a process that will take years, even because it's not. I'm a bad person to be able to hold my runners for like a move like this level here where we bounced. I had this marked out on Monday already, and but like the reason why I stayed out and I actually shut down the computer and I left the house, because I had some nice weather here, and I thought, I went to the gym, and it was pretty nice outside. And then I thought to myself, well, first of all, there are a few things that are red flags for me, because the problem is that dollar and ES were dropping at the same time this morning, which is something I do not like, because I usually like trading in inverse. So if dollar goes down and the market goes up, that's like something for me to keep an eye on. And I like doing that. And that wasn't the case this morning. So even though I had we spoke about it on Friday, what the bias was, because I think we both opened up the calls on Friday. afternoon or after the close,
Yeah, we
where
did.
we said, hey, listen, something's up, because like we were watching NASDAQ, and I even posted it in the Discord. I said, guys, watch this level, because that 15,105 is something's happening there.
Yeah, they're
And
selling all those SPX calls, and they're buying all those NQ
yeah.
calls
And I
for
saw,
today or for yesterday. Excuse me.
And I don't use Bookmap anymore. So sometimes I log into YouTube, and then and I don't really care what happens like during the session itself, but I like to watch it the last 30 minutes, because especially when they're dropping things down and you see ICE buying, I know from my experience in the past that will last for at least a few days after. Even though they can drop it below it, in my mind, they are actually accumulating in that area. And it doesn't mean that that's going to be the low that day or anything, because
explain
they can
that accumulating part
back
too, because I don't know if that everybody here understands, like taking the emphasis off bearish and bullish, and more that it's accumulating at these rock bottom prices and then distributing.
Well, it doesn't really matter where price is. It's the game that they're playing. It's like it's divided into 4 quarters. So you have an accumulation phase is the first phase, which is usually on a Monday. And then on Tuesday, you have this manipulation phase. And on Wednesday, you have the distribution. And then on Thursday, you either have a continuation or a reversal or of whatever they were doing. So Monday is always like a laid back day for me in that sense. And like yesterday, everyone was complaining that the market was like shit. But like for me, it's my bread and butter, because it's stable, so it's predictable for me.
Let's say that one more time. So Monday is accumulation day.
Yeah.
Tuesday is manipulation day.
Yeah.
Oftentimes retailers will call that turnaround Tuesday, right?
Correct. Yeah. And of course, it doesn't work out every time, but
no.
Today
but
is a perfect example how it was. It's like it's I guess you could call it the Judas swing in a sense, because like the point is that they're dropping it down, trapping everyone into shorts at the lower end, and then they rip your face off.
Rip your face off.
Yeah. So and like I had my like I thought something like that was going to happen, but like yesterday I had a really good day, and I said to myself, fuck it, there's no need for me to be trading this crap. I'll just wait for a setup to unfold that I recognize, because dollar was acting up a little bit that I didn't like, even though I was bearish on it, saying it was going to go lower from now on, and everyone was so bullish on it, and I said, no, well, I just don't see it. And they were whipsawing it both ways. And so I traded 6E is like the euro version of DXY.
Yeah.
So I traded that this morning mostly, and I took some calls on SPX, but there were a few warning signs for me that I didn't like, because like the bid ask was really wide, and I was getting really bad fills, even though I was picking bottoms and tops in that sense with my entries, which was good, but that gives me the room to be able to handle that. But like taking the profit off of it is really tough, because let's say the premiums, for example, on SPX, you would think they would run it up to, let's say you got in at 17 or something like that, and they run it up to 23 or 24 dollars. You don't get filled at that price. So I pulled the plug like $1 or $2 before that, because I'd rather secure the profit than trying to like get out at the extreme high, for example. And what the setups are that I basically start to look for is like the way I'm saying it, how it's divided into quarters in a week. It's also like that fractionally during the day. So those accumulation, manipulation, distribution, and those reversal phases, they also occur during the day itself. And so it's fractal, and you can even pull it out on the year. There's this guy called Day, and he came up with this theory because based on the kill zones that ICT teaches us to trade, for example, he was sort of like trying to figure out and fine tune them a little bit more. And so it's like this.
It's like looking at the February low and then the April lows, the accumulation, the manipulation, the distribution phases, or even on the higher time frames over the course of a year. You can apply them to the month or to the quarter, to the day, and
because
then with it, go ahead.
Yeah, because like the month really, everyone thinks the first of the month is when the month opens, but it actually doesn't. It isn't, and then the week doesn't open until on a Tuesday, which is a bit weird because you would see them use that level to accumulate either above or below. So like for today, like and on NASDAQ, the true week open for this week, we're actually on it right now, because that is where, let's say, this week starts. But what did they do? They dropped it down and they started accumulating below it, and now they're back at it. So and for the month, they actually were above it. So it's really tough because like everyone's being so bearish on the market, while I look at seasonalities, and and can they be wrong? Yeah, of course. But even though it can be wrong, they will still follow it in a sense. I've noticed. So I try to stick my guns and keep to that plan at least. And I noticed like on Monday, because like remember on Friday we discussed that we were going to keep those calls out, right? And I said I'm going to hold them. Well, guess what? On Monday I woke up and I was in profit, and I think I got like $5 out of it or something like that in premiums, and I sold them. And the reason why I did that was because I was opening up Twitter again, and then seeing what videos people were posting and their biases of these people that I look highly up to, and even my mentor, he said, stay out of the markets, it's a mess. And so I chickened out and I sold them. While those premiums, I bought them for $8 on Friday, and they ran them up yesterday to 60.
Yeah, they got ran up.
Yeah. So, and that's why I'm saying, my weakness still is holding my runners and sticking to my plan, and not letting outside factors influence me, because like that's where I have my stop for, anyway.
I'm having a hard time right now with finding a balance in what I consume from Twitter, FinTwit, and CNBC, and Bloomberg, and I'm not struggling per se, but you kind of need to be aware of everything going on, but I don't want to get influenced by the churn.
No, but I mean, like,
the story that's sold. Good.
Yeah, but like the low was when the war started, it's like, and for me it's really difficult because my trading partner that I like, do everything with, like next to helping everyone out in the Discord, I have a trading partner that lives in Israel, actually in the north. And it was really difficult for me to long these markets, like knowing what he's going through, all the hell and the crap that is going on there. And I had to really turn off a switch in my head to be able to do that. And it took like 3 or 4 days for me to be able to do that before I was able to, join the party in that sense.
Yeah. And the all-consumingness of it, or the news, or the threat, or all you can do is hedge it, right? And then go long. Someone posted that over the weekend. I reposted it on Twitter over the weekend, and what I reposted, it says podcast. He's here in the stream right now. He's the guy that posted this. He posted a meme on the 13th that said, when stocks drop sharply due to the threat of nuclear war, buy the dip. If nuclear war doesn't happen, you'll profit. If it does, you won't need the money, right? There's an aspect of truth to this, right?
Yeah.
And then that statement that that meme that podcast made comes from it's written about in all kinds of books, the hedge fund market wizards books, that whole not just that book, but the whole market wizard book series. Time and again, these traders talk about that.
Yeah, it's and the psychological part is so no one talks about it. Yeah, you do on stream, but that's something that I never got in the beginning when I started trading. It was always a struggle in trying, because like my bias was always clouding my judgment in that sense. While I was pretty good in saying, hey, we're going to go up or down, but executing it the way you think it will and managing it is something different that will take time to be able to do that. And that took me years.
It's weird too, because I always hear people publicly saying, I always see people saying, like, I'm in total. It's like the stock market macho thing to say is, I have no emotions when I trade, and I never argue with my own mind. And my other favorite one, I think that small group of statements is, I can trade this market up or down. I don't care, right? And it's not that you can't trade the market up or down. It's not that you can't be emotionless or keep your head out of your trading. I always say the dumber you are, like, I think I've become a better investor and trader. The more you don't dumb it down. It's like, it's not quite dumbing it down, but overthinking it, right? Or hey, I've got my tools, and my tools tell me to do this, and then I'm overthinking, and that's the overcomplicating part. Is usually the emotions or the mind overthinking a position. But it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
Even if people don't want to admit it, it's usually there for most people. Do you think that, or no? Or it seems like you're describing it to some extent.
Yeah, it is, because like I still have it sometimes. It's like sometimes I think to myself, "Oh fuck, man." You see these people sometimes. Well, if it's true or not, I don't know. I'll leave that in the middle. But where they're just like emotionless going into it, and I am in a lot of ways, but only when it's doing exactly. But like a lot of times I notice where I'm running into is where I think something will happen, and then I'm dumbfounded and actually surprised it's actually doing it, that I got it right, where I'm like, I don't trust myself yet, to get into this position, and I can maximize. And look, I have nothing to complain. I doubled my portfolio, I think even more for this year, but it's just, it's still a struggle that I have even to this day. It's like, to be honest, I don't try to pay attention anymore to what is going on outside, out of my chart world.
How do you get your news?
I don't watch news that much.
Do you follow like an economic calendar, or you're basically using the clock for reports?
Well, I listen to the news when you put it on, and some I have the stream on the background a lot of times, so I get that news clock, and I do watch to see if there are let's say economic releases. But I just have this window in Interactive Brokers that comes up, and that just shows me everything, and I'll just double check that with Financial Juice also. But like in the past, I would keep track of what the economic releases were, like even the numbers, and now I don't give a fuck anymore. It doesn't matter, because it's all cooked anyway.
It's all cooked.
It doesn't matter. Good news is bad news. The next day is bad news, good news. It doesn't matter. What does matter is where does the price bounce? Like today was a perfect example. I had these two lines marked, which are, it's called a fair value gap, that was on the daily chart. Because we had made a low already, where I was like, fuck, okay, this could be one of those 3-point lows,
Did
where
you think they'd fill the first gap from 4 a.m. or no?
Is what? Day?
Were you wondering if they would close the 4 a.m. gap or no?
You mean to go up first and then go down? No, because what was happening in London, that just like the setup that is in London is it doesn't go up like that. So that's the trap that they put in, because if you look at 3 a.m. they make the high on ES, and that is like, you know, they like trap the London traders in that sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who they are, but you know what they do is they breach the Asian high, and then you think things are going to go up further, because like we have levels above there that we could go test, like the high of yesterday, and I see them reversing it a lot of times. And then like usually when I put the trade on, I get out by 5, you know, like 5 a.m. your time. And even though it keeps running, and like in this case we had this economic release happening, and I didn't see it, but I didn't see like it drop like that until I was outside. And then
Watch this roll in the background if you're watching the stream right now. Sorry, David, to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries.
Watch this roll here to the downside. Target to the downside, 430, 643 possibly. No confirmation yet. No rejection to head down there. Just keep an eye on that. You see that rug pull on Bookmap right now. Go ahead, David. Sorry to interrupt, brother.
Yeah, no worries. And watch the previous day high. It needs to hold that 44.14, 25, I think. And yeah, so and when they drop those economic releases, then like I stay out on the first 30 minutes. I let them do whatever they want to do. And then I think, let me see.
You were talking to me on Friday about how when they're finding those highs and lows, they keep coming back to those highs and lows, their importance of those highs and lows. But
yeah, because that's where stops are, you know. It's simple. The market just moves on stops. It's like, where are the stops at? That's the first thing I look at. And even now, you know, like to go back up, first we need to take out the stops. So we need people to puke. And even though, you know, when it's trending up and when the algorithms are turned on to go to a certain direction, it is because they want to reach to a certain place to, yeah.
You can see it today, right? You can see them just like,
yeah.
So I'm watching it today and I'm like, we all know I'm like, so I didn't want to say it in stream, but what I wanted to say in stream was, we all, and Jimmy Barry's been harping on that. A few guys have been harping on this the past couple of weeks. It's like, you know, the fucking market wants to trade that 4440. And time is burning. So, you know, they're going to wait until the last minute to do it. And they're probably going to go above it and then bring it back down and park it. Bring it above and then park it into their OPEX at 4 p.m. on Friday. And, you know, how do we get there, though?
And I see it also in the premium pricing, you know, so like, because I chart those premiums, and then you see them running it down, and then like today, let me have a look.
Today's premiums were out of control this morning. They're out of control this morning. They're out of control right now.
I mean,
so like they already built it in.
I was playing 4370 calls for 2 days out. Like I was playing today's and tomorrow's, because I you know, if I leave the computer and I want to, you know, buy myself some time in that sense with theta, like those 4370s this morning when I was trading them, you know, I was getting in at $16, you know, and getting out at 21. You know, there was not much going on, and I did not go short or anything because like I don't know, it's things weren't adding up, because I saw the discrepancy with dollar going on and euro going up, and the market was going like dripping down, and then I just, you know, take my hands off. But they dropped those premiums all the way down to $7 right now. So at 10 a.m. this morning they were trading 7, and now, you know, they ran them up to 32. I mean, geez, you know, that's a 320% gain just there.
We were also,
and the only thing you have to do, go.
We were also talking about, so you're talking about the rise and fall of a premium on an option, right, on SPX. You also chart those out, don't you, on IBKR? Or
yeah. So what I do is every morning, wherever it doesn't matter where SPX has closed. So yesterday I think they closed at 68 or something like that, or 73. So I just play the calls and the puts that are where SPX closed on yesterday. That's it. And I set alerts on both of them at $10, and I just wait for one of them to break out or break down, and then I just snatch them up for a discount. So basically, like 90% of my trades are always long. Even going short, I long puts. You get what I'm at?
So on SPX, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't trade SPY. You know, we had this conversation because the problem, I can't trade that during London. And
you get fee issues too, don't you?
Not really. I mean, it doesn't matter, those fees. You know, like people are always talking about commissions, and yeah, I see that as cost of production. I don't even care what I pay on commission. Because it's just, I don't know, it may sound a little cocky, but it's just like part of the game, I guess, you know. There's not much I can do about it, and like those few dollars I can save on it, you know, it's all right. But the thing is with SPY, I can only trade them in options because I'm based in Europe. So for example, like buying outright 100 shares SPY, I'm unable to do that unless I sell a put and get assigned or I exercise it or something like that. And then the only thing I can do with them is sell them again. So, and SPX is just, you know, it's trading 23 hours a day. So
yeah, that's one of the nice parts is
like
that
futures.
SPX now trades 23 a day. That's awesome sauce.
Yeah, but the thing is that that you do have to take into account is the bid ask. There's a big spread. Sometimes the spread can be even like 70 cents, you know, and that's a lot because like if we have a narrow range and they have such a big spread, sometimes you don't get a proper exit, even though your direction is right. You need to be careful and time your entries and your exits properly. And that's why I just wait for these extremes to get hit first, to take the other, like the opposite side of the trade.
You made that comment on Friday too, didn't you? Trade the extremes, right?
Yeah.
Like sit on your, that's, and what, even without going into too much explanation. I mean, Friday we went down the rabbit hole, but what I took away from, or one of the things I took away, you had some easy simplifications of how to trade, and I loved what you had to say. You said, trade the extremes, look back in time and look where those extremes, where we continue, wherever we return to frequently, and look for those extremes as a place to long or short the market.
Yeah, because it's quite simple. Because like for me, there are a few time windows where I keep an eye on. Like in the morning, it's like at 5 a.m. and the other one is at 3:20.
Let's go
AM.
let's start this. So if you're watching this show right now, get your pens and papers and your notepads out. So David spoke to you about what each day is like. Not every day, but there is a flow to what each day is about, right? And now David's talking about extremities. He's going to give you some important times of the day. So go ahead, David. Sorry to interrupt. Say one more time.
Well, it's quite simple because like you know, the only thing is I post it in the Discord because like you have the day is divided into 4 quarters. You have the accumulation, manipulation, distribution, and then expansion or continuation or reversal, for example. And they always happen in a specific order. So it's always like that, or the other one is that it expands in Q1 and then the accumulation is happening in Q2 and then in Q3 it's manipulation. So you have this timetable, for example, that I'll post it into the Discord where you can see what I mean with it. And
you're gonna post it right now in the Discord?
Yeah, I could do that.
You want to post it in the general chat?
Yeah.
Or you know what? Don't post in the general chat. Post in the futures room, man. Let them go to the futures room and find it there.
Yeah, because like it's quite simple. Like the first phase always dictates, like let's say the second, the third, and the fourth phase, right? And if the first phase is consolidation, then the second will expand, and the third will consolidate, and the fourth will expand again. So if the first phase expands, then the second will consolidate, and the third will expand, and the fourth will consolidate. And it comes down to what I was telling you, you know. So if Asia consolidates, then I trade London, and then I skip New York, and then I trade the PM session again. Like if Asia is expanding, I skip London, and then I trade New York in the AM, and I do not do anything in the PM session. So it's like every morning I wake up, I look and see what Asia does, and then I plan my day, you know, and then I decide for myself what I'm going to do.
So your first part of the day is finding out what is Asia doing, right?
Yeah, because if they're expanding, then I got the morning off. You know, I don't need to touch it anymore, because then London chops around, unless if there's like a lot of range happening, you know, which is rare in that sense when Asia has already expanded. But there are like some key times where I do like to keep an eye on it, because like at 6 a.m. something turns on also, you know. So I also know that at that point, like I know what it does at your let's see, 12 p.m. New York time, which is like my noon. It's the same behavior that occurs. It's like these algorithms turn on, and then you know, they mean revert it.
Yeah.
So and the cycle just repeats every single day. You know,
so
you don't even need to have anything on your chart. You know, just mark out the high and the low, and then it will seek it on whatever 90 minutes, you know, it's been doing.
So how many of you out there are watching the highs and lows of the Asian session, the opening of the London session, and then marking the highs, or excuse me, where we are in the U.S. session, the New York session in the morning? Is everybody out there tracking those sessions, or no? Find out from in the chat. Anybody in the chat, do you do that or not? Yeah, some of you guys, old gamer guys, saying he does now.
Yeah, because it was an eye opener for me, because like I was missing this element in understanding when things would turn, and like I always saw this thing happening at like, because it's 6 p.m. for me, which is your noon, right? So
do you want to bring up one of these? Like, do you want to open one of these charts and show people this, or do you want to share a chart on the screen? You can.
Sure.
So if you look on the Dave, if you look on the bottom of your Google Meet, it says it should say
present now or
present
like
now. It's a little arrow and a box in the center. If you're looking in the bottom center of your Google Meet, it should have a little arrow and box. You can just scroll over it and it'll pop up and say present now.
Yeah.
Do you have a second monitor or no?
Yeah. Do you see what I have here?
Let's see if we can see what you got. Yeah, hold on here. Let me give me a second here, and I'm gonna see if I can make this the Nope. Hold on a second here. See if I can bring this up for everybody. Hold on. Let me go to the let me go to a full page here, brother. All right. Let me get rid of my say something really quick.
Yeah.
Okay, good. You're good. I can hear you.
Okay. I see that I'm sharing my trading view at the moment.
Is that what you want to share or no?
Yeah.
Cool. Start talking. Do your thing.
All right. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so this is a perfect example. Like I told you, you know, I'm always waiting for a setup to form from noon, right? Your time. And you see how this one here, you have Q1 that starts exactly at noon. Look, the thing is, I'm always looking for a high and a low to form in Q2. So you see how it's fractal? Like today, the entire day is, for example, a manipulation day. Let me have a look real quick. You see the red bar here?
Yep.
Okay. So today is manipulation. But for the monthly, we are in a distribution somehow. So, and what they basically divide the day up in these quarters. And, to be honest, I don't really care what goes on if it's Monday or Tuesday. What I look for is either a high or a low to form in Q2 or Q3 to trade Q4.
Up or
and
down doesn't
pattern,
matter, right? Up or down does not matter.
No, I don't care. If it's low, I long, and if we're high, I go short. Like today, like this thing is, look, for example, if I told you I'm looking for a setup always at noon, right? And you have this micro open, but the thing is that, like, in this case, it's difficult for me to go long, even though I think we should go up to 44.30. And what I told you, that 44.38 that I had marked out on top here, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, but I prefer something lower, to buy the dip. Now, I didn't do any charting whatsoever because I was talking to you, so I have no idea what the hourly is doing and what it looks like. So first thing I do, 2, 3, I'm waiting for this hour to close up in 9 minutes, and then something will develop. And in the meantime, I know we have this one here, mark that. And pending what this candle closes off at, we'll see. Because if we remain above here, this is a place where I would look for longs to go to my target. This one here.
Yeah, I'm always looking on those half-hour candles for that same setup there.
Yeah, well, you could use a 30-minute one as well, but I look for inefficiencies that here. But these are all clean at the moment, so I don't really see something happening in here. And however, the 30-minute one, for example, let's see where they'll stop it. You see the midpoint of it?
Yeah, that's what I'm always looking for, is that 30-minute candle. I'm looking for to make sure that it just doesn't start breaking below that halfway point of that previous candle.
Yeah.
Or closing fine, candle below that previous half-hour bar.
But the thing is like, usually when a high is formed in Q2, a low is formed in Q3, and then they will continue on and do a continuation in Q4. So, yeah, in this case, I would think we go down a little bit and then we go retest the highs. And if you can go short, this is the place where you need to go short from. Up and then go down.
Yeah,
but you draw them out the same way I do. So I'm open to both scenarios, but once, the thing is one, we're not in an area that I want to participate in that I had marked out beforehand, even though we did take out the stops, and it's a 3-drive pattern, they call it, and then you can take a short from here if you're aggressive. And where do you go? Because we broke the structure here, and we're back below the previous day high. And you can see here that we even retested it and rejected it. So let's see what they will do.
So you're looking to break above that tweezer there in that half-hour candle to take another long, or for the extreme on the downside, right? The extremity on the downside.
First of all, the thing is that I don't like to chase at all, and like when we're already like this up high, and unless I have a real strong conviction that we're going to go up, I will take it. But the risk reward is just not there for me at the moment. I'll rather wait until tomorrow morning for a setup that I know where I can, reference of, because like a lot of times around noon, you will get the high of the day set in normal, like circumstances. But like days like today, when the market is trending in a specific direction, that's when they do break them. And yeah, and you can take a long from here, but will you get all the juice that you want? Because I think the move that you did today was impressive already. It's like from the low to the high, we're up already, like, let's see, 56 points.
Yeah, it's a good day. And I'm wondering too, let me switch back over real quick. Let me get back to the, hold on here. back to the main screen here. And I'm going to just switch back to just your view of your face. Hold on here. Can you stop presenting?
Yeah. What I just wanted to point out real quick.
Hold on, we can put you back on full
about
screen.
those quarters. Yeah, what I wanted to point out real quick regarding the quarters is that you can see that there's this tool. It's called its name, I think. Let me see what his name is. It's called Day's Quarter Theories, and I highly suggest you read it up. I think I even pinned some information on how to use them in the Discord. But look it up, because like if you were able to figure out what happens in Q2, which are the red ones, as you can see, like here, this is a low. From this area, see? And regarding the Asian sessions, just point you out real quick what they did this morning.
Yeah. Show them the Asian session and then the London Open and the cash market open.
Yeah. So this is the Asian session. It's quite simple. I have this box that gets drawn, which ends at midnight, New York side. The only thing I wait for, because you can take both sides of the trade, right? So what do I keep track of? The midpoint of it, the high, and the low. And you can see here, when these stops get taken out, which happens at 3 a.m., you see? Or
yeah,
right
I see it over there.
Yeah. So they dip it down, take out the stops, and then they make a double bottom, and then, you get a nice trade. Like, be realistic with your expectations, because
you don't
it's like
need
the only thing
all.
I target for. No, not at all. I target the mid and either the high. And in this case, we didn't even reach the high, and that was suspicious of me, because that's where I pulled the plug, because I exited my calls here. And when it started to consolidate like that,
and that's where your pivots come in, right? So so as you're using these rules, you're still using pivots on the trade, whether it goes up to that pivot and then reverses back to the downside, gets underneath.
Exactly, because I thought we were going to go retest the high of yesterday already.
Yeah.
Well, which we did, but we went, I don't know how deep. But, so in the end, at the end of the day, your thesis is right. But, how do you make it tradable? Because,
yeah, and you got that level down there too. That same, they didn't touch that second level down below there. That's what I was wondering, if they would close that last little level down there, but they didn't.
This one here.
No, the one below
because
it.
You know where this one.
Let me see. 435,850. The yellow one. So the second yellow one down, not the top one.
Yeah. Well, if it's bullish, you want it to hold here.
Yeah,
exactly here. And I'll show you why, because it's quite simple where that level comes from. On a daily chart, you have this inefficiency happening here. See here?
Yep.
You have the high of Friday.
Yep.
And the low of last Tuesday. We dropped below it, and because like the gap that we had here also.
Yeah, they closed all that gap right there, but not this one.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I wanted to keep that level on there, because I was expecting it to be bearish to trade through it, and then maybe go here at some point. It's like I'm open to both scenarios always, because if this, then that. Because like if we break below here, then I'll short it from here,
Yeah.
To go back down here. But they my alerts went off, and they just, well, you see where we are now,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they held it. And is it worth taking the long? Yeah, it is, because like if you take the long here, you have an entry here, because
that's that sweet sexy down there. That's what I want, is that.
Yeah. And this is the pattern I look for, basically. So I do not care, if it touches one of these areas that I already have marked out. I mean, seeing this happening here, like making this low and then breaking this high here that I have here, like that.
Yeah. tapping that.
It needs to break it, even if it's by one tick.
One tick, dude. One fucking tick.
I don't care. And then, you know, it's go time for me, because then I'm like, oh, I can't wait till it comes back here. But, you know, you also have to have the patience, because it takes like 20 minutes for it to get down here. But then, like, this is your long officially.
Yes.
So
but the moment you break that previous high on that huge low, it's like it's on, you're off and running.
Yeah, and you know, where do I target for? Is you know, I don't care even if it goes all the way up here. I get out here. This is where I exit, because I have these stops here. You see these relatively equal highs here?
I do the same thing. I do the same thing.
And I don't care. Well, and then I have other confluences, because like the midnight open, that level was at 43.95, which is, you know, a place that they will always go back to retest it. And
they did.
And, you know, yeah, and they did. And they went above it, and you could have gone short from it, even, you know, to go back to test this high here. And then, you know, you do whatever you need to do.
Find the buyers still there, push it up. And
yeah,
even right now, I feel the same way at this moment. Like just looking at where we are.
Yeah, well,
like, could this hold? Yes. Am I going to take it? Not unless we get above. Let me go. Not unless we go back above. SPY would be 437.25. But yeah. we still. Well, hold on. Let me switch back really quick. So even right where we are right now, if you're like, hey, we're gonna keep this. Like Jimmy and I are all talking about this OPEX and these like targets upside targets for end of month, right? Of that 4,400, that 45.31. Even so, David's basically saying, like, even if you can see this previous high right here, right? Dave's basically saying you need to be above this to take that continuation trade to get up there. But otherwise, you're going to be looking for that. And it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon right here, right? So they came in to sell. It's 12:28 right here. But this 12 o'clock, we got a failure. Oh, let's look right here. This is 12
because that's what I was trying to say. That
12 p.m., right?
Exactly at that
failure from buyers means they push it back down and try to find where that support is, right? And are those buyers still down here or not? So what is David saying? Sit on your hands here. Or if I'm wrong about this, David, let me know. But so here's your 12 o'clock, right? There's your failure to find buyers, right? And then we're coming back down to find if the support is actually here. We're either going to come down here and trade this 434, 433, or whatever, this 434.93. So you don't have a long trade here unless you get back above this this 437. So right now,
that's the weird thing about it. Like you know, like the weird thing is I would long this right where we are right now.
Right here, you'd be longing it.
Yeah, but I'd be very I'd be scalping it, you know, like getting in and getting out, and like not having much expectation. Let me see what the range is at the moment, 4408. Like I would target again the previous day high, you know, and then leave a runner because we have a micro open, like knowing that in Q2, which runs between 1223 and 1245 is where a high gets made, and that we also have another quarter here where a low gets made, and then we either get a continuation or a reversal. However, you know,
this half-hour chart, man, this half-hour bar right here, they're still here. These buyers are still sitting here in this half hour. They have not given it up yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, even though you can, like, I scalp these quick things, getting in and out. It's not much. I grab 5 points, and I'm happy with that. You know, I'm not, and that's why
chart,
it might
by the way, if you're watching at home.
Let me have a look. See what the 30-minute looks like. So like for now, like we have an hourly close that we had, and I marked this fair value gap that we have there, and I keep an eye on the mid of it. But like, you know, first of all, it's a time of day that like I do not like taking longs in a premium. I wait. I rather wait for a discount, and for me, I'll stay hands off in this case because it met the criteria to me where it's making a high at noon and then, you know, pulling back a bit. But, you know, I'm still in conflict that I think we should go back to those levels that I mentioned earlier in the stream.
So here is
but
the
it's not
one.
a place for me to enter.
So here's the 1 hour low right here.
Hey, well, you know, and what always helps is like whatever high or low that you have, if it's a 90-minute one or a 1 hour one, just wait for one of them to breach, because it will breach one of them no matter what. It will always do it to take out stops, to take the other side. So even if you're bullish,
even if you're bullish, they're going to come over and liquidity break you, right?
Yeah.
Down here,
exactly.
Even if they're going to come back up, and so if you are
they
bearish,
keep trapping everyone.
So if you are bearish here, the idea here would be, let's say blast down through here. You're still looking for the rejection on that 1 hour low if you're going to put on the short. So you need to pay close attention to, you're going to need to pay close attention to this stop hunt. So there's a stop hunt going on right now, right? And
yeah. And like, to be bullish, like you can even drop all the way back down to 4,400 and then still go up, you know,
still go up.
It depends. Yeah. But like for me, the more like the first thing I do, I set my alert in, like in this case, 4407, I have an alert set, 4403, and at 43.98. Above that, I'm still bullish. In that case, looking for longs. But yeah, like the thing is like I want to see it trade through 4430 to go short. And as long as it doesn't do that, I'm not taking a short.
Yeah, that 4430, even the gamma profile's got some really wonky stuff going on. It's got that 440, that 444.0, and then
you know, and the mess part, I mean, there are setups there to go short, because like there was a fair value gap, like let's say from Thursday still that we got into, but even there, you know, we breached the halfway point, went above it, and I'm like, nah, okay, it's just not my setup. Yeah, I'm not recognizing it as a short.
And this is the
and
gamma.
I'm sure there are people that trade those models, but it's just not mine, you know. It's and that's okay.
It seems like they're stepping in a little early here to sell that 4,400. I got the SPX gamma chart up. Looks like they're stepping in early, but then we've got no stops here, and then this 4450 is a big point. This one right here, and then this one, of course, is the other big node. This one's kind of like not as big, as important as I thought, but seems like they want it up there for both of these. Do you ever notice that if they want to tag these, that will push up past both and then bounce on top of that 4450? Or do you think it's do they like tick strike it?
Well,
there's no market.
What I love to see them do is like create a displacement above those levels. So like trade above it, through it, and then like
then you get to pull back,
like this
right?
gap. Yeah, and then it falls back, and then it creates a pullback. And sometimes it takes time, especially on the higher time frame. You need to be patient because it doesn't show up until a specific time of day, for example. You know.
So a lot of what good.
Yeah, so I just wait, because like in this case, I'm just going to wait between 8 o'clock my time, which is I think 2 your time.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna wait for a silver bullet to show up, and then I'll trade off that, because that's where they then will move the market again from. But like, I don't know, we'll see where we are.
So one of the points
where they are.
One of the points David is bringing up is taking out stops here, right, on this 1 hour low. It's not necessarily bearish, but you as a trader, if you're a trader and you're trying to trade this right here, right, the thesis here is don't get trapped in. Hold on a second here. You don't want to get, or not. I shouldn't say trap, but here.
Don't get too bearish yet.
Yeah, you don't want to get too bearish yet. If you want to get bearish, you can. But what you're looking for here as a bear is if you have the bloodbath down, right? You grab people's stops here, right? The big fat red candle down, and it looks super bearish. What you're really looking for is from that capitulation, whatever this green candle is. Does this green candle fail on that 1 hour low? If that does fail, you can begin to get bearish. You can set up the short trade or the long put trade to then take these candles down. But if this candle on this stop hunt here, if this green candle recovers to the upside, then that puts you into the finger trap, right? Into diddling in the middle. And you can see this failure candle right here was bought right back up, and demand is pushing us higher, right? You still don't buy this. You wait, because this green candle is positive, right? But you don't want to get caught in this shit either. So this is actually more bullish or neutral. But if you do get the break above, and that's the high you're looking for, you'd trade that right there. And then you get the reversal on the white and red here. That white would turn, and you'd get the red back to the upside. You'd have the bear trap right there. So you're just kind of sitting on your hands in here, bullish or bearish. This price action you don't fuck with. You just kind of sit here and let it play out. Is that right or wrong, David? Did I get that wrong, or if you want to ask or say anything, or better way to describe it?
It depends on what you're anticipating from it. Like I am.
Is there a trade here for you, long or short, right now, where price is?
Yeah, I just went into some 43.70 calls.
You dirty dog.
I couldn't resist. I'm already starting to scale out.
You're like me, you're early like I am. I'm always early too. Hold on, I'll join you. Hold on a second here.
Oh, wait. Be careful.
Well,
I'm skilled,
I had
so like
50.
I wait for this bottom to hit, and then
I had 50 set up. I'm only going to do 10. Hold on a second. So.
I already scaled down.
All right, we're good.
I'm already up 3 contracts. Well, I just like to see these premiums, because when they drop like $2, I just grab them, because they drop them down to 12.50, and then
I'm on 438. See, we'll see what it does.
Yeah, I did 43.70s. Let me see. I was wondering the other day, it's like,
it's a good, like, this is the kind of thing here where I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, we're either going up here, or if we start to roll, I'll fucking stop myself out down here. So, this is the place to put some kind of risk on.
Yeah, but it's like
even if it goes against you, it's still the place. It's still the place. So this previous low right here.
And that's the thing, because like if you try to take longs at the high,
there's no point, dude. There's no point.
I don't do it. And like in this case, we had our high in Q2, what I say, which I always expect around 12, between 12 and 12:30. The second 90-minute window that I play with, where they're going to retest the 90-minute highs and the lows.
Yeah.
And I just trade that.
Yeah, and it's 112 right now. Like so the system that
and it looks
I use
like
a
it's
similar system, more not as complex, but like it's 1 o'clock right now. Like in my view right here, like bulls basically have a half an hour in my view. Like they're given the half an hour from 1 to 1:30, and then at 1:30 to me is going to be the critical. They're basically given from right now until 1:30. The bulls going to be given that last chance. If they can't turn this shit on in this half an hour, then that 1:30 will get owned by the sellers, and that we will send it to the depths of hell. So,
oh yeah, because I've seen that happen too. Where I thought I was like uber bullish, and then all of a sudden I thought, I'm buying the dip and this kind of shit, and then all of a sudden it just goes against me. And in those premiums, sometimes it's like it's a shit because you can't get out. It's like,
yeah, like this. It's like
you already lost like 30%, and
yeah.
I'm like, fuck. I should have hedged then with futures short or something like that.
I always look for those 30 minutes because, like, whenever on that 30-minute, I'm always like, I always notice that you're getting you're getting a new low off that previous low or a new high off that previous high in those 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you fail to get those, look out for the other side, right? So right now, this next half an hour, simplifying this between now and 1:30, it's 1:14 right now, right? So like a seller is required to get a new low from over here. So this red candle right here, they have 16 minutes to create a new low situation. So if they don't get it and close underneath, we'll go up. If they do get it, it's usually pretty fucking bearish. And we'll see that that known support down below here. All this stuff here, 434, 434, 93, 33, and they're trying right now. They're trying to sell us out right now. I'm still long here, by the way. I need to see that failure of that green candle. So
let me have a look.
I'm still long here. I need to see that fucking failure.
I mean, it's it. You know, the thing is that it's I don't know. I'm not supposed to trade patterns and stuff like that, but then I see it flagging like this, and you just have to wait and till it reaches a specific level. Because like for me, it's quite simple. You know, I tried a true week open, which was 44.06, where I tried to long it. It jumped up. I got out. You know, I'm skilled, so it doesn't matter if it goes against me. I already bought my stop. You know, so. And that's the thing, because if you, it doesn't matter where you get in, but if you already have your levels planned where you could, where you're able to scale, then you can have that buffer if it goes against you to get out, even if it goes further than what your stop was. And that is what really changed everything that I did, is the scaling part. You know, in the first 2-3 points, as soon as I get it, I take about a third off or whatever I do. It doesn't matter if you're trading micros, and if you can't do the big ones, do it with the micros. Learn it on there. If you're not willing to take the $50 risk on it, then you shouldn't be trading at all. And you know, I think that is, once you see the dynamic on what scaling does to you and your theoretical average, for example, to your position, it gives you breathing room to have a little tolerance to give it more room to do specific things.
Yeah, we're parked right here right now. There's a little bit more down there. Not much market down there, so. VIX bouncing really quick. Let me just give you a quick market update to people. You got a large reversal on HYG to the downside off their 6 EMA on the 1 hour trigger. HYG going back down to retest those previous lows from this morning. VIX parking itself up on the 27 EMA in a 5-minute chart, trying to hold that 27 EMA to go up. That's looking pretty bearish right now on SPX with that VIX count. Dixie is extremely bullish right now. Apple reversing on a 1-minute chart below the 27 EMA. Tesla testing its 27 EMA. NASDAQ testing its 27 EMA right now. So mixed bag right here. VIX and Dixie telling you to expect a roll. And right now you see this pull up right here, this green candle right here, and this failure. This is probably going to result in a down move. So I'm going to end up taking I should have taken my stops right here. So right there, I should have taken my stops. So I'm still long right now. I'm going to try to get out here in just a minute unless we do get this roll down to the downside. We're likely going to get it. Target to the downside, 435.58 for SPOOs here. And this is just based on Dixie, where Dixie's heading right now, and then VIX. I'm still long right here, so I'm just looking for an exit at this point.
But that's weird, because like this morning, dollar wasn't moving in like against the market whatsoever, which was a flag for me. That's why I stayed out at the open.
There's some funkiness here. There could be like, even if we do roll, it could be something where it's like down and then immediately straight up. So I'm looking at Apple's got 177 that it's going to be looking for a bounce. So if they do reject this and send this lower, there could still be a dip buy in there. But I'm still long right now, haven't sold. And you know what's even more fucked up is I'm still sitting on these fucking calls and I'm giving a chance. You got the bear cross forming up here right now. It's not quite there, but you guys see that?
I'm also still in those calls. I still have one.
Oh, you do?
Left, but my average, yeah.
Yeah,
my
I'm still
average
long
is
here too.
21.55 at the moment, and they're trading 22. So I'm still green on them. Weirdly enough, you know, it's like
so right here. There's a bear cross coming up, but even so, like timing of closing when you're wrong. I'm like, just give me that one bar right there before they reverse it. Just give me that one squeeze.
Let me see. I think I can get out at 23. I think I got a buck out of it.
Yeah, I think I got a chance to get out here. And this is why I like this is why I like taking them after we cross above and then come back down. But you know, I'm good right here. I'm good. We're gonna see what happens here. I'm gonna try to rain it down on us right now. I'm still long too. I shouldn't be. I get yelled at in stream for this, by the way. Let me ask you guys in the chat right now. Let me ask you in the chat if you have any questions for David. Do you want to ask him any questions in the chat, or if you already have asked David any questions, if you could repeat them? I don't have a producer reading the questions in the background right now, but if you could ask, hey, buddy. And I'll be honest, David, my bot is still long here, so until we get that cross, yeah, dude, until that fucking bot turns red, I'm still long, so I'm down with it.
Yeah, I need to because like last week I think it was somewhere. I have the triggers on my trading view and I was looking at them, but
I just like that little
box. Nice trades off of it.
That little box that's like long, short. I'm like, what am I trying to do? I'm at least at least at a minimum, I use it as like a, should I be getting long, getting out of a long? Is it telling me here to get out? Is it telling me I can stay long?
Because I need to learn a little bit more about those crossovers. What happens or what to expect when that happens. Yes. Because I was looking at the past and I saw something change.
Yeah, I've got two
flipped on the chart.
So I've got two different alerts on there. I've got one alert that writes bullish or bearish or something like that, and it writes it out. And that one is good.
It was the first time in let me have a look to see that something was crossing over.
And I've got some
hadn't happened for a long time.
And I've got some questions for you too. As you're looking right now, people are asking questions in the chat. So I'm going to ask. Well, let me wait here for you to get. Let's get through what you're talking about here, or maybe we revisit the bullish bearish crossovers in the box at some point. Maybe I'm leading you down a tangent rather. I'm asking people to ask questions, then I'm leading you off on a tangent.
Oh, no worries. Go ahead.
Let me see here. SYWECG said, David, what are you trading? ES, MES, or SPX? 2 days out, question mark. At the money, question mark. What's your deltas on them? What's your expirations?
Oh, I only trade the option that is where SPX closed on the previous day.
So you're only trading the options where SPX closed on the previous day?
Yeah.
What else we got for questions?
I don't look at deltas whatsoever.
You don't
wait for the premiums to get cheap. No.
Yeah, I look at deltas, but I don't. That's not a decision maker for me. It's when the premiums get cheap. I do something similar to you. Is I track where the opening lows or highs on those options are, and then I know if we're going up, that's where everybody's in, or basically the algos are in at that low, and they keep going back to that low, and sometimes they grind the theta off.
Yeah.
theta grind that option as the day progresses.
And what I do keep track of is where they closed them up on the previous day. So for example, it doesn't matter which option price I use, because I think you can determine it based on, well, I don't know. I guess if you go further out the money, then you'd have a little bit of a problem, I think.
Yeah,
but in the past I started with 30 deltas, and then I noticed that like if it goes against you, it goes against you fast. And like if I'm really convinced about like we're going a certain direction, for example, like where we bounced today, I would have probably taken a call further in the money, if not completely in the money, maybe, and then a day out.
The on SPY, what's fascinating to me, not fascinating, but on SPY, what's fascinating to me is the anything that's above like 30 delta, I can usually get some recovery. But anything above that, like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, they're like highly directional with like 1 dates, 2 dates. Like you're in for the direction only. If you caught the right direction only, and not the like the I guess I should say like, so if I'm buying like a 30 or closer delta, like 30s, 20s, 10s are in the money. Let's say I buy it at that like let's say a 30 delta call opens at 10 cents. It tends to hold that 10 cents if we're directionally heading up all day long. If I don't, it's like a 40-50 delta was like a 3 cent or a 2 cent or a 5 cent. I'm not using the best example here, but they'll grind way farther down than that 5 or 7 cents. It will, like, instead of coming back to bounce off 7 or bounce off 10 or bounce off 12, it still stays, it like still blasts down. I'm using the wrong numbers here, but like still blasts down to 0 at some point by the end of the day.
Because like what I do like if I have a conviction that it's going to go to a specific level,
like intrinsic value stays with the closer deltas on 0 and 1 day. It's a better way to explain that.
And I the last few weeks I've been looking a lot at the volume, also a little bit, because they need to be liquid, especially in SPX. You can have a little problem with getting them filled. And since I chart those options, and if I don't have the right chart settings on there, it will not show me a single candle, for example. So I need to switch over to the midpoint. But as soon as I do not see those candles trading on that strike price, I a lot of times stay out of that one. And then I look for one that is a bit more, with a bit more volume, for example.
I'm always looking for the concentration of calls and puts on each strike, and then I'm always looking at I think basically that's where are they all positioned, right? And that's where the magnets are, right? It's always where all the puts are, where all the calls are. Someone's asking here, they're saying, this is from Goat Boy 1989. He says, David and Cap, do you believe it's important for us as a retailer to think or quote unquote believe that the market is controlled algorithmically? We've just been sold that it's a buying and selling dynamic. I don't believe this. Goat Boy saying he doesn't believe that it's buying and selling. You and I talked about this Friday, right? That we don't believe the real pricing in the market is real.
Oh no, fuck no.
I think the classic TA books and like have sold this idea to manipulate the masses. Like how like the market loses $1 trillion in a day or $55 billion in 15 minutes. Like,
no man, liquidity gets put in by the central bank every day.
Every day,
it's all programmed.
Every day, liquidity gets injected
between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m.
I came a bit late, so I didn't catch the beginning. So I didn't tell your story. Here's trade. How long you traded? Yeah, we've already told that story. I'll put together this. So Beartown Sheriff, we're gonna put together a. I'll put together a montage, or we'll cut the video, the interview down to where I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about here, making a bad example, but I really mean this. like intrinsic value.
Well,
is
you
what I'm
know
trying
what
to
I
say.
suggest? What we could do is
We'll put the interview
maybe
up.
tomorrow or on Thursday. I can get on stream, and then when the golden nugget setup unfolds, and just walk everyone through if the ingredients are there that we would take it. Like in this case, it was a short also, but yeah, I don't like it when it's being done in a way of where we already
where we are
made
right
an
now doesn't
extreme
mean
low,
anything.
and then yeah. So, and even though it works, because every single day it works, it shows up in what kind of form, it doesn't matter, because sometimes you will get 5 points, sometimes you get 10 points. I mean, even in this case, I think, how many points did they give you? Went from 23 down to 07. So, well.
Yeah, David and I
It's
talked
good.
about Friday about I'm going to spend some time with him. He's going to spend some time with me, put me through the combine, and then we're going to try to get him on the air. Maybe just stop in, or maybe even make some videos. So I think that'll be like that whole follow up there. What else do we have? We got another. Let me see what else we have. David, how are your liquidity zones identified?
The recent swing high and low.
Do you want to show an example of it if you share your screener again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's see if I can go to it.
See.
We got full screen of you, handsome guy.
Horrible.
Did you hit the gym today or what?
Turn up. Yeah. I went to the gym, and then I came home and I saw that discrepancy in DXY happening still. And then I went for a walk because we had some nice weather here. And I had to go to the vet with my cat because she's like has been in diarrhea for like 3 months now.
Oh no.
3 years, by the way. Yeah. Sucks. She just shits over the floor everywhere. So my entire fucking house smells like shit sometimes.
Oh
well.
Our animals I noticed that like animals are expensive. Like
yeah.
They are not
here in
cheap.
Europe, it's crazy. It's like you go to the vet for like 15 minutes to get one shot, and it costs like $80, but I get more pleasure from it, so I don't care. So it's fine.
Let me know when you want to share your screen, and I'll put you on full screen here.
Okay, cool. Allowed to share the window. Hold on one second. Let me start off with a clean chart. Okay.
All right, I got you. I like the white and green candles too. By the way, I used to use red and white. I like them.
You can use my template if you want. I'll share it to you, and then you can just save it, and then
SPY pushing down right now into the pivot.
Yeah, look.
You see bulls lost a half an hour on 130. We immediately started selling down. Now trading 435.64 here. 132 in the afternoon.
So, like when I start off the day, it's quite simple. I look for the previous day high and low, and one of them will be taken out. That's it. So in this case here, I had a fair value gap there because we have this weekly opening gap that is still open, because we basically gapped and go on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We never touched it, and that zone, I don't know. We might revisit it later in the week, or maybe sell off this week. I don't know.
I hoped we would revisit it this morning, but they left it and went up and took out the other side of it.
Yeah. Because what they basically tested was the low from last Tuesday.
Did that answer your? Who asked that question here?
So that's why I had that 43.66 marked on there.
And do you mark the previous week's highs and lows as well, or no?
Yeah.
As areas of interest as well? Yeah, me too.
Yeah, definitely. And because like there's a setup, they call it like an order block that could be in development, but it's going to take a day or two for it to pan out or not. And it did break through it. where I had my levels that I wanted to take it. But yeah, we'll see what we'll get. But I look at the previous day high and low, and one of them will always get taken out unless it's an inside day, but those are rare. So, and that's where I take the short or the long from always.
Now, when you're finding those liquidity zones, the up and down side, are you trying to trade off those? If it bounces on the bottom side of that liquidity zone, you're trying to trade off those, and then trying to sell the top of that liquidity zone, and then if we break above and below, you'll take your stops and trade that.
Yeah,
next
like
zone
the setup
down.
that I showed you on the 1 minute chart, like this. What you see happening here, this pattern in this area.
Yep, I'm looking.
I like that. And even if it's a short or a low, I'm just inversing the chart. But, look, the thing is like, what do you see up here? It's the same thing,
Let me see if I can go back here.
It almost looks like the low that we had this morning. See?
Now they bounced off the pivot just then at that moment here. And you said that this was manipulation day, right? So you're seeing the manipulation today, the grind.
Yeah. I'm not going to distribute until tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. We got Biden tomorrow, ostensibly having an interview in Israel, and then Thursday we've got all kinds of speakers and some important news coming out. But I always find Tuesdays as the most fascinating day of the week, right?
A lot of times it will form a high or a low of the week,
Yeah, on Tuesdays,
either on
absolutely.
Tuesday or Wednesday, yeah. So, and then on Thursday you could have the reversal, but Friday, for example, in the quarters theory, it doesn't take that into account. However, the micros you can trade because it's basically you discount whatever happens on Friday.
Let me see here if I can see what read some of the questions here from YouTube here. Let me go through YouTube really quick.
I'm curious. Here was your entry short.
David, what did you do before you became a trader, and what made you decide to become a trader? At what point did you decide to join Bob Kendall's group for education? I guess, what did you do for work? You don't have to give like your exact job, but what were you involved? Like, what was your profession?
I was working in the airline industry. I'm originally a pilot, and I was working in the operations departments.
You want to show your
a big airline here?
You want to show your face again?
Oh, sure.
So you worked as a pilot, and I guess let me ask you more pointed questions. What drew you to the stock market, and what was your reasoning for getting involved in the stock market?
Well, I was interested in it since I was a teenager, really. And I was always like tracking stocks and those kind of things when I was at school, weirdly enough. And, I made some money on Bitcoin and those kind of things, which I really like, which kind of set it off for me to do a little bit more. But I also lost a lot of money with trading cryptos. I blew up tons of accounts because a friend of mine, he would tell me, you have to buy Ripple. Well, I call it rip off because basically it's like a deflating asset or whatever it is. And he rips, they short. And
I got a friend that trades that right now. I got a friend that's trading it
I'm not touching. I lost all my cryptos. I had everything at FTX. I didn't have it in cold storage because I was short on Bitcoin, and I needed to have my Bitcoins as leverage. So I still have that claim running. But I never traded it with money that I couldn't lose or anything. So you know, it's not like it affects my life in any way or form.
Were you trying to escape having to work for someone else? Were you trying to have a future, or was it getting out of the grind? What was the motivation?
Yeah, I was trying to get that freedom to do it, and like, you know, even though you have it, but like I'm sitting behind the computer still a lot, so it's not like, you know, you practicize it, but like I will, you know, take some more time off in the future because I have to like take care of my mom a little bit more, and then fly down to the Caribbean where she lives to take care of her.
You had to do that recently
So
too, didn't you?
yeah, I went there for I think about 2 months in the summer, and yeah, I will need to go. I think I'm gonna go sometime next month again for a few months.
And what about
And
what about
but that's what I was talking to you about, you know, as like, you know, trying to change my strategies a bit also in that sense, where I would be able to do like collect more premiums, you know, be a bit more passive in it, because like I'm I'm a sniper when it comes to like trading futures and these options and scalping them. And I pull the plug quite hard, and you know, it's like if I get stopped out, I don't care, you know, because like the next trade I will win my stop more than 3 times back, for example. But I do want to be a bit more passive where I'm not spending that much screen time on it. And I'm learning it now a little bit more by just like dividing my day up into specific setups and then just waiting for them to develop,
are you
which helps a lot.
did you how long when you started investing or trading, were you still working in the airline industry, or just say, fuck it, I got a bucket of money, I'm going to slam myself into this and start a new career?
Yeah.
How many years did it take for you to leave what you were doing and become a full-time trader? Once you started.
Before I became profitable, I think it took like 2.5 years or 3 years.
Yeah. Did you have any success immediately out the gate, and then some losses, and then success? Or
yeah, I had a lot of success, but it wasn't really that hard because like when I started paper trading and it wasn't doing that well, and then I really started to buy the dips during COVID, and when everything was locked up, you know, so but that wasn't that hard because like I mean we had these wild
I'm still
swings,
buying the
but
dip here. I just added a bunch, by the way.
I had no fucking clue what I was doing. Like, you know, I was just longing the market every single day, you know. It's like and it just didn't stop. So and then like sometimes you would get these huge dips, and then like I would freak out, but I would also have like heavy losses. Like, you know, I would also like I think my biggest loss was like $38,000 or something like that in one day.
What about the fucking loss that you took on the bullshit with the brokerage being down?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's that loss. Yeah.
Yeah. And that affected me for like almost a year.
And you never got paid back for that, did you?
No. But yeah, I earned it back. Like, so it doesn't, it's weird because it's like, it was part of a system fault that was causing this. But then again, it was also recklessness on my behalf by not managing my stops properly. So I don't have anyone else to blame than myself, to be honest, in the end, because I'm the one that presses the buy button, you know. Even though it was a system error, there were ways to get out of it somehow, and I just was a bit more passive in it, into not taking the initiative and sniping that shit up, you know.
Yeah, some of my largest losses I've ever incurred were knowing I should have taken a stop and run, and not taking that stop. I don't do that anymore, but on the big trades, I don't do that. I do it. I'll fuck around with 0 dates here and be like, this is my goddamn conviction, or you've taken away 30 or 75% of the trade, and might as well just stay in it or leave it in the pile of shit that's burned. But those large trades, dates, man,
like I see them as stops. Like basically it's like I'm buying them, but I don't care if they go to 0, because like like in my mind, whenever I enter an option trade, that amount that I had put in, even though I am planning to put in a stop on it to limit the loss, but I basically count that option as like something I could lose all from, because like for example, let's say a bomb goes off or something like that, right?
Yeah.
There's no way your stop is going to get hit, and you're never going to get that premium back.
Yeah.
So in my mind, even though I'm able to take a stop on it, there's always in the back of my mind knowing that like something could go against me in that trade where I lose that entire premium. So that's why I never risk a specific percentage of my portfolio on any trade to limit that. So
I do play significantly sized trades against my account, but it's like 5 to 10 times a year. If I was like say 5 to 10 times a year, I do put risk on.
Yeah.
But I used to do in those trades is I would, if it started to go against me, I would stay in it, and I wouldn't quite blow up my accounts, but pretty fucking bad. So
I wish I was able to hedge
I do
them,
put
like,
stops on these trades.
You know?
What's that?
I wish I was going to be like someday. I really hope to be able to be so aggressive in that sense to hedge them out immediately with futures. But the thing is that with SPX, it's you have to calculate every dollar amount. Like, I don't know. I'm stupid, man. It's like I could care less like what the amount is. I just want the direction right, and if my stop gets hit, it gets hit. And I don't want to be thinking about like how many futures contract I need to hedge that position for.
Do you feel like you're more disciplined with larger trades or less disciplined? I feel like I'm less disciplined with smaller trades and way more disciplined with larger trades.
No,
more calculating,
like I have the
more
same emotion
patience,
if I trade a
more.
micro than what I have with
Say again?
SPX. I have the same emotion that I have with trading micros. Like sometimes I could, like, if I'm unsure about my position or my direction, I sometimes revert back to the micros, for example, to take a position. And even if it's like a $10 loss, it still bugs me. Like I can't stand seeing the red on my P&L, and I know it's part of the game, and but then
that's
I just
part of what you do too,
shut
right?
it down. Yeah.
Like I feel like you can't be doing this if you're not going to be like raging pissed at any loss. Like every loss I take is like a fucking nail. If it's just for the day, if it's for the week, if it's for the month, if it's for the quarter, it like, to me
and I catch myself revenge trading sometimes as well, but I it's not like I'm revenge trading but to recover the loss, but it's more of I'll wait like for the fucking entire day for a setup to unfold where I know it will do whatever I think it will do, and I will recover that loss. And I know it will come.
Watch out down below here. Have some more supply or some demand, some stink bids down even lower from here. And that's down to that yellow layer, this one right down here. So you can see the 3 of these targets down below right here.
Are we? I'm not too sure this area.
You see what let me just read the YouTube comments really quick here. Thank you for your time and info today, David. Going to rewatch later. As a trader, I want to ask about tax time. Any things we should know to aid us with profits like a 1031?
I don't know what the I'm based in Europe, so I'm in this. I have a pretty good tax system. I have nothing to complain here.
Is it better than the States?
Traded, yeah.
Are there any rules against like I know Canada has some rules as to what you can and can't do. Do you have any big?
No, not that I know of. I've been trading for 3 years and they haven't,
Like you can't own the SPY, right? Something like that. You can own SPX, but you can't own SPY.
Yeah, and SPX is cash settled, so what do you own it for like a day? Same with futures.
You can own.
I don't hold futures overnight.
You don't hold futures overnight?
No, never. I'd rather take a call and for it to go against me than hold those futures.
Do you use someone that prepares your taxes, or do you prepare them yourself?
Yeah, I just I have an accountant, and the only thing I do is I tell them what my account balance is. And by the way, in Europe they know everything. Everything's connected, so they can just check in the system to see what the status is. I think Interactive Broker even shares that shit with them, with the IRS here.
Yeah, so you don't have to turn that over to your tax guy?
No, not even. I do, because my taxes are a bit more complicated, because like when you buy a house here, you get part of it back, and it's like it's a rabbit hole you don't want to discuss here. It's like there's this tax system here that's just so fucked up in a way, but we pay a lot of taxes, huh? So
yeah, you have better quality of life though too, right?
We pay like half of our income is in taxes, but like everyone does it without any problems, because like we got the best healthcare system here and the best infrastructure. We've got everything that is needed, and the quality of life here is so good. We don't care that our taxes are that high.
Yeah, but you get a lot more services than we do in the States, right? And you guys have one. Like, if you were to look around the world at any of those.
Yeah, and I've seen it in a lot of places, and then I've been to 85 different countries around the world already, and then every time I come back here, I'm like, man, anyone that is complaining about our tax system here and that it's too much, they haven't been in other countries.
That still forces you to seek out to make more money too, doesn't it? It would to me, I guess.
Yeah, it does. But then again, you're also, I'm happy with what I have here. I'm not, the reason why I'm collecting money is not even for myself, it's just because we're trying to set up this foundation and trying to support startups.
Yeah.
And I don't want to tap in my own funds for that. So I just pull it from the market.
Let me see. Cheaton is asking. So Chetin's a longtime supporter and helps out in the background. Chetin's asking, great listening to you, David. What is your view in the market for the rest of this year, maybe next year?
No idea.
Yeah.
According to seasonality, we're going up, but
let me bring up the seasonality chart. Hold on, let me bring it up here really quick.
I can share mine real quick. The one that
you want to share yours?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, doesn't matter to me.
And the thing is that I don't know, man. I just look at the previous high and low of the day, and then I just trade that. And because like anyone that is trying to predict to see what it's going to be like in a year, it's probably going to be wrong.
Yeah, it's like seasonality works and does well. It works and does like at a higher time frame. It works great, no matter what. It works great.
I see that it works, but I've been only paying attention to it since about 6 months or so, and before that, I wasn't using it at all. So for me, it's still new, and so far, the way I've interpreted it, it's working flawlessly. So I'm like, fuck. I should have looked at this shit much earlier,
I saw the one decline. I mean, it works. I've got it sitting up on my end right now, and I'm looking at it, and it's still showing. It's showing right now that that push up into the end of the week, into this end of the week. But then we got a new low coming into next week, and another low, and another. I think like the next 12 days is like sideways, or like so. Or I should say after Friday. Should be sideways and down consolidating for a larger move. Let's see what you got here. Let me show it to you.
Sure.
Or let me show everybody out there.
Okay. So we're looking for a reversal continuation in this quarter up until year end, right? So, and in the Discord, I pointed out that from the 2nd of October until the 13th of October, I'm looking for a low to form in that window, right? So, And for me, the limit was around the 13th of October, because you can see the gray lines, the red lines, the yellow lines, and the orange lines, right? The yellow one is the 5-year seasonality. The 10 is the orange. The 15 is the red one, and the gray one is the all-time. So on this table here, based on data for the past 24 years, we should have a low form in October on all seasonalities. If we're in a bearish state, or in the past 5 years, we had a high develop in November and another low in December. And other than that, there's always a high in December. Now, here we have all different markets that are saying the same thing. It should be the same for ES, YM, RTY, except for that Russell should have a high form in December or in November again. Now, what has happened this year? Is it diverging from what had happened before? You know, and the thing is that like I even though the seasonality doesn't follow it completely for a specific time period, for some reason these pivots, when it says it will turn, it will temporarily turn in whichever direction it's saying it will go. So like even on the 15th of September, in the Discord, I said, you know, it's a weakness of window of weakness right now. So we should go down at least until October, which it did. And we bounced right off this area. Where,
it was the 12th or something, or the 15th of October.
Yeah, it was on the 4th of October where we made that low. And, you know, we've been going up nonstop. And then, okay, yeah, we had 2 days going back, and now 1 day up yesterday, and now 1 day of a pullback again. But, you know, it could be that we are chopping, consolidating. Who knows? Maybe we're accumulating shorts to go back down, you know? I do not know. And that's why I'm saying I'm just watching it day by day. However, you know, like I said, I've been looking at this now for about 6 months. So far, I'm impressed by how I'm using it, but am I trading off of it? Like putting on trades for longer than a day? No, I'm not yet. Do I want to? Yeah, sure I do, but I need some more conviction and trust in that system. And I don't know when that will be yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna let me share my screen really quick. See if I can move this over here.
Hold on 1 second.
Can I? I don't know if I can share my screen here, but I'm gonna try.
Let me turn my screen off.
So yeah, just here on this seasonality chart, and one thing I want to show you here is, in terms of seasonality, you can just see here. You know, you should keep grinding up into like right here, right? And of course, he just ripped faces off and then had that pullback. It still looks kind of the same direction here. And then, of course, if you're looking right here, this whole week here should mark some kind of a high and then a pullback the next 2 weeks, and then a pull up into end of year. But just like this,
the way I'm seeing it also.
Yeah, I see the same thing. But still, even with seasonality, like if you get those extremes on highs or even lows, you know, it kind of, I guess if we were to look at this on a higher time frame, it would all kind of blend together. But the idea here would be, if we stay with seasonality, that you get that last little push up right there into Friday, and then we start that consolidation move down, and then you get that move up and possibly even up to test all that stuff up there. But that doesn't put us really where we want to be, right? I think that's what some of the banks have said, that that 4,500 would be the end of the year at max. And I think Jamie Dimon came out and said he's expecting 3,900 by end of year. Hold on here. Let's go back to the main screen so they can see it. Breakdown below the pivot. Now trading the hourly trigger and the daily trigger on SPUs. So this full pullback happening later in the afternoon. This is not quite similar to yesterday, and not quite. We didn't get the full bloodbath and the squeeze higher. Just that straight pullback into the hourly and daily trigger here. So the entire squeeze move from this morning at 9:30, 10:30, the entire move erased. Big squeeze higher, straight back down into the hourly and daily candle here. We'll find out what happens next. Nice. Now I'm wondering about that with this whole gap down here that we left from this morning, that 4 a.m. gap down here. We never closed. All right, I'm showing it back here, but it's that 4 a.m. gap. Let me see if I can hold on a minute there, Dave. I'm going to switch over here. So just right down here, this is the gap that we were talking about this morning. See that gap down here? They never closed this. They closed this gap right here, but never closed this gap down here. So question becomes, do we go down there, close that gap, and then you get your next rip? Let me go back to the main screen here. Do they actually get down there and just put that pain trade on, that manipulation trade?
Oh, that one you meant. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's hard. Let me see if I can show it on this one. Hold on here.
Well, that gap.
I had it on my Weeble chart this morning, but there's a gap sneaky. There's a sneaky little gap right down in here. This all needs filled. It's
well, the thing is where I
431.81. Good.
What I suggest anyone to do on Friday, mark the last tick, and then on Sunday the first tick. And that's
the Monday and, the Friday Sunday ticks. Tell them about that right now.
Yeah, like they're called the new week opening gaps from what I've learned from ICT, but like they dance around them all the time, and like you keep the past 5 or 6 of them, and that's the only thing really. That's a different model. That's a model in itself, even because the market just ping pongs between them all the time. So once it gets rejected in the other one, it goes back to the other one, and that's how it keeps going, back and forth, back and forth.
So you're marking the close on Fridays and the openings on Sundays, right?
Yeah,
and you're tracking those every week.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling you. The one that runs from 43.51.25 to 43.56.50, I think. I'm not saying it's going to go there because I don't know. They left it naked. We barely touch it. We only touch it in the London session on Monday, and that was the low of the week so far. So, and technically we're making higher lows and higher highs still. So don't get too bearish yet.
I'm not bearish. I'm actually I loaded a bunch more calls. I'm still long here. Long calls for the close. So I'm long into the close here today. I feel like it's a Mexican standoff. One way or another, they're going to go up there or my view is one way or another today, tomorrow, they're going up there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm long.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt about that.
Well, they can manipulate away all they want. They can say whatever they want to me. I don't care. Well, I'm not trading fucking 100 grand on this. So
that I still have difficulty with is that, like, with all this war shit going on, I don't know. It's really hard for me to hold a position longer than an hour still. I get in and I get out. I like to see myself as like a purse snatcher. It just keeps getting these little bits and pieces, and I don't even care where we end the day, for example. But what I do care about is, like, what is the setup that shows up at like what I said, like at noon your time, and is the Asian high or low going to be taken out at 3 a.m. in the morning? Because like I wake up every morning my time around 5:30, 6 o'clock. So that is your midnight. That's when when I'm already awake, and I just wait for these three moments of the day, and that's it.
Are you so you said that you're no conviction into end of year or next year. Let me ask you another question. Do you think that, do you have anything to weigh in on whether the U.S. continues to raise rates or hold rates, or do you think they continue to raise 25 BPS, 50 BPS? Are they done with their rate hike cycle? How about in Amsterdam? Have you guys you don't care personally, or even with the market if they do or don't, do you? You just follow price?
Yeah.
And
I
what
could care
about,
less.
do you
I
think
could care less. You know, the only thing where I notice it is now is like, because like my car, it's like when I bought it like 3 years ago. Like the first Tesla I bought, it was on a tax credit where you got half of it from the government, and then you had to lease it, and the rates were like really low. And I think and I went to look at a new car a few months back, and then I noticed, I said, fuck man, you know, it's getting more expensive. But the only reason why I was thinking that is compared to what I had before that, and it was because the rates were that low, you know.
How much? What are rates right now in Amsterdam on a new car? Can you get 3 to 6%, or is it higher?
It's a little bit higher. I think it's 4, something like that.
Yeah, I think with good credit right now, you can get. There's some like lease deals out there, and there's some new car deals where the rates are actually pretty fucking good. And you can actually.
I'm not selling my car because like I have a 2018 Model X, but I still have free supercharging. So even with all this energy shit, I'm not paying jack shit to load up the car. And as long as I keep this car, I don't have to pay for supercharging. The minute I get rid of it, I lose that option.
Yeah.
So, and the car is still brand new. I mean, it's only driven maybe 20,000 miles so far.
We talked about that 2 years ago. We talked about how awesome Teslas are in European cities. They're like made for.
Yeah, and my car is a little bit too big because like in Amsterdam, like.
I'm talking about the charging, not the size.
Oh, the charging, yeah,
No, the charging, like, and the distances that you drive and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, perfect. And I don't think I think they're going to ban gasoline cars already in the city. Like if your car is already older than 15 years old, it's not allowed to enter the city anymore.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know that.
They already banned that. Like we're way ahead than what you guys, have been getting, and like this process has been going on already here for like 10 years. Like I'm already on my second Tesla, it's like I've already been driving them for like 8 years now.
We've sold one because we were going to make a lot of money to sell it. We kept the other one. My wife drives it and she fucking loves it. She loves her Tesla. And I drive the ski
I've
wagon
never had
around.
A single problem with it. I haven't been to the garage once. And I think one of those Rangers came by once to replace a tail light. That's it.
And how was the process when you contacted them? They came to the house, took care of it, and it was done?
I didn't even have to go down. They just opened it up. You just remotely opened the car up. And then, we didn't have to pay anything because it was in warranty. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't been to a dealership or a gas station for, I don't know. Fuck no. I don't know how long. Can't even remember. I don't even know what they look like.
My wife never has any problems. None, like zero. And we don't. Yeah. There's some of the trim lines on the outside don't match up exactly, but I was also told that could all be adjusted too. So.
No, I'm not. I seriously have zero problems with mine, and I mean nothing. And I don't even have even. But the only thing that doesn't really work well is I do have the autopilot and the advanced autopilot, for example, on it, but they don't allow the FSD beta, what you see on YouTube and those kind of things here in Europe. So, and I doubt it will work here in Amsterdam with all the.
That was my next question for you. Was autopilot in Amsterdam? It's got to be crazy, right?
Well, it's I don't think it will work because like as a human driver, it's even a fucking challenge to have all these bikes around you because everyone runs red lights. Like like starting the 8th of December, they are restricting in the entire city limit here that you cannot drive any faster than 50 miles an hour in the city.
15 or 50?
15, 1-5.
Oof. 15 kilometers per hour?
Yeah. No, miles per hour. Sorry.
Oh, is it miles per hour?
30.
Okay.
Yeah, 30. 30 is going to be the max in the entire city. But like now they're putting the bikes on the roads and with the cars.
That's what I noticed was bikes on the road with cars. And
yeah, and they're saying the car is the guest, you know, not the bike.
And motorcycles are you guys are allowed to weave in and out of traffic in motorcycles too, right? So you got to account for all that too, or no? Like lane, we call it lane splitting here. Do you have lane splitting there? We call it. It's kind of where
no, we don't have the room for that.
If there's a traffic jam, can a scooter ride up past? Some states here you can ride past a stopped car. And
oh yeah,
some
they can
states
do that. It's not allowed, but they do it. But like
they do it.
Now you're starting to get a lot of these mini cars, like these. You have to Google it up. It's called a Opel Atom.
Opel Atom.
Yeah. I mean, Opel Atom. Let me see. No.
I see it right here. The Opel Atom is a city car engineered and produced by the German car manufacturer Opel. I got it open on Wikipedia right now.
Sorry, Opel Rocks. Opel Rocks. ROCKS.
Yeah, I see there's Atom Rocks, Opel Atom Rocks, Vauxhall Atom Rocks.
No, it's called Opel Rocks. That's it. Opel Rocks Electric. It's a mini car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks like you got a lot of these people driving around in the city nowadays with these.
Is this the? Let me see if I can show this here and see if this is it.
And they pimp them out like big time. You know, they look good. Some of them do.
Is this these the cars you're talking about here?
Yeah, look.
I've got Opel Atom open on Wikipedia, and then down here they got Atom Rocks. To boost sales of the Atom, Opel launched a crossover convertible in 2013.
No, that's not it. Just type in Opel and then Rocks.
That's Opel Rocks. Hold on here.
Yeah. In the search bar of Google. Not the Atom Rocks, but just Opel Rocks.
I got Opel Carl, Opel Astra. Maybe this is it right here. Is this it right here?
And then, let me have a look. Yeah, that's the one. The top one. Ugly one. Up. The first one.
This one right here?
Yeah. Yeah.
That thing is gnarly, man, and super small. And what are they doing? Are they converting them and like adding stuff to them, like ski racks and stuff?
Yeah, they're no, not like that because they only use them for in the city. So to do groceries and like do deliveries and
that's still cool. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
I bet you it's cheap too. That's the key, right?
It's like it's 8,000 euros or something like that for a car like that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine like a U.S. maker truck just smashing into that thing.
Oh no, but that's the thing. I mean, who the fuck is gonna kill you if you can only drive 30 kilometers an hour?
Yeah, I get it now. Like I'm getting it. You can only drive 5 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour because of cars like this. Well, you know what? Like Detroit would do great with some. Well, like not do great, but if Detroit, I don't. New York is closing off some of their main thoroughfares right now, and they're making them pedestrian. But if you had like, especially if you had bad weather, like if you had bad, like Detroit would do well with these, because if you were, it's cold there in the winter, so people, even if you're going to make it pedestrian or more conducive to, not big, having a bunch of throughways and freeways and all that kind of stuff, you're going to be like, what? You're like, yeah, we're looking towards getting some people walking here and on bikes. That's one of the things about Detroit is everyone's always like, well, it sucks to ride a bike in the wintertime here. And a car like that on the inner city part, like the center city of Detroit, would be fucking great. Because that would be a solution, especially for like in-town stuff. You know,
here they're like really pressing all the environmental stuff. Like anything electric, they get hard on here. So it's like,
yeah, this would actually be a
because like
solution.
but since the electric cars have been introduced here, there's so much less pollution in our city. Like I notice it on my house, there's no sud in the gutters anymore. And like in the past, it was all this gunk coming out. But now, like seriously, I think about 30% of the cars here in the city are already electric, or 40% even.
Yeah,
at least in my neighborhood,
It's weird. It's not weird.
It's going fast.
When we lived in the West, we needed a truck. We needed like real true 4-wheel drive, all that kind of stuff. We moved here to Detroit. We didn't. We needed an electric car. We have a truck still. We have a Cadillac Escalade.
The thing is, in the States, you have so much distance to cover. It's like I understand why it's needed, but like here, like I think I use my car maybe once a week.
Yeah, maybe once.
And the rest I do by bike.
Yeah, I wish we were more bike centric where we're in Detroit. They're trying, but we're not there yet. Just bouncing around here in the hourly trigger right now. Not much action going on in the marketplace. I've got some calls on. I bought some calls earlier. I bought 438s, and then I added again. I've got a bunch of 438s for dirt cheap. There were some calls on the upside on 436. They've sold them as of now. They've bought a bunch. The algorithms have now bought 435p. But I'm parked on a bunch of cheap ass calls down here, waiting to see what's going to happen to this close. I'm of the mind and thesis here that you don't have a ton of time to get to that 4440 or above the 4510, and so they're going to do it into Friday. They don't have a ton of time to do it, so I took some calls that I bought them pretty fucking expensive, but only a 10-pack, and then I added another 10, and then another 10, and another 10. So now I'm just sitting here waiting to see what happens into this close. If you're bearish here, say something inside the chat. But I'm still long here. This looks like taking out stops to me still too, and trying to fake you out for the eventuality of heading to the upside. So
I was originally planning to go short at 4430 around in that area, 4438. I wanted to get that. I wanted to see that hit. If that happened at noon, I would have taken the put.
Yeah, we've got that too. We've got people racing. We got a bunch of stuff that goes on. We got like people racing Hellcats everywhere. We got the dirt bikers and the 4-wheelers. The 4-wheelers and the dirt bikers I'm kind of pissed about because we have the space to give these guys tracks to run and stuff. So that's kind of a failure on our part to help out the people that want to ride 4-wheelers and stuff. But
in the city?
Yeah, it's like in the city, we have a lot of land that's unoccupied. We've got a lot, like our state has great off-roading for dirt bikers and let's start the baseline. This is the Motor City, so people love their vehicles. But kids here are kind of poor, right? And so they own 4-wheelers and dirt bikes, and they want a place to ride their 4-wheelers and dirt bikes. We don't really provide them with that place, which we need to and should. And we have the land now with the population decline to make it happen for these kids. So they do it in the city. They like ride their dirt bikes all over the city. They ride their 4-wheelers all over the city. And they generally cause havoc. But I don't think that they would if you gave them a place to ride their dirt bikes and 4-wheelers. And some people get mad at it, and I'm like, yeah, these kids don't live out in the country. I mean, if they lived out in the country, if you drive out into the country, you'll see kids riding next to highways and in the back dirt paths of the countryside and stuff like that. So I'm like, the same kids are doing the same shit. They just don't have a place in the city to do it. And I'm like, give the kids a fucking place to run their bikes. Like, give them like an old railroad line or something like that. You know? Yeah, man.
Here, like in the Netherlands, they really arrange all that crap. They create these parks and recreational areas to.
Well, you have a bike culture there too, right? Bicycle culture for that stuff too, don't you?
Yeah. Everyone has a bike. Yeah.
Detroit's like Motor City, but if you go out west, the bike culture is outstanding. Any like if you, like I don't know how it is right now on the East Coast, like New York, Boston, New England. It was always okay. I guess Ohio's got a really big bike culture. Iowa does, but then when you start getting out west, it's like dedicated bike lanes, dedicated bike parks, dedicated skate parks, all that kind of stuff is there, and the kids take full advantage of those parks. I wish we had more like bike parks in Detroit.
I think you're better off to have a bike here than a car, to be honest.
Say again?
In the city. And then in Amsterdam, you're better off to have a bike than a car.
Yeah, San Fran's like that.
The only
too.
reason to have a car is if you need to travel outside of the city and a place that is not reachable by public transport or something like that. Because it's well arranged here, you know, like the infrastructure is good. The public transport is good.
Yeah, public transport out west is good for me.
You know,
I've had no bad experience. Like out west, I always had good public transportation. New York had good public transportation. New York used to be a real shithole. It is sometimes still, but not quite what it was in like the 90s. The 90s, man, it was really bad. I think California, from my recollection, they had great corridor travel, but in the city it was mixed bags. Mixed bag on like the BART can be kind of weird too. The subway in San Francisco can get kind of weird depending on what time of day or time you're on it.
Wow. And is it in Detroit? Are they, because it used to be a slump, right? And is it pulling out of it at the moment?
What?
Like infrastructure wise and compared to what it was like 10 years ago?
The country?
No, Detroit.
No, it's booming right now. So Detroit like burned to the depths of hell. It was probably like the largest fall of grace without a recovery in recent memory. Like so Boston, New York, like it's weird. You speak to somebody today and they're like, LA is a shithole or San Fran's a shithole. New York's a shithole, Boston, whatever you want to say. But I'm like, how old are you? Were you alive in the 70s or the 90s? Because, like, those cities were shitholes in, like, the 1970s. They started to turn around in the 1980s. New York was one of the last cities to turn around. I want to say they started really turning around in 92. But when someone says they're a shithole now, I'm like, you have no idea how bad it actually was back then. Like, it doesn't hold a candle to how bad it was in those years. Now, Detroit did its own thing. Detroit had decline in the 60s from race riots and all kinds of jobs being taken away from African Americans. Then you had like tacit segregation where there was segregation, but everybody was getting along because of jobs and all this shit. And then our country had a large societal upheaval right in the late 60s, early 70s. And basically Ford basically abandoned Detroit and people left Detroit. Not just white people, white people, black people, everybody left Detroit. And it burned to the ground. I think the bottom, if there was a bottom for Detroit, it was probably the year 2000, maybe 2000, right around the year 2000. And no other city that I can think of right now, like on that scale and size, has gone through quite that and not bounced back. But Detroit is booming right now. It is like booming.
Oh, cool.
And it's a comeback right now. It's fucking awesome. It's missing a few what it's probably missing is it needs to capitalize on a second or third or fourth like Silicon Valley alternative. It was known for years as a mecca for tech. So for the auto industry. So they have been attracting some of the auto industry. Electric car makers are making batteries here and development here, but they need like a Tesla to come here full force or an Amazon. I know people are going to say no to that because they fucked up like Portland and shit, but they need like some large tech company with manufacturing and development to move to the city, and that has not happened at this point. And Ford fucks around with it. You know, like Ford started this they have this like innovation center of some kind for development of EV tech, but from what I've heard from the engineers here in the town, it's an incubator to fucking burn these companies to the ground, literally to steal their tech for Ford. So that pisses me off to some extent. And I'd really like to see Detroit like embrace EV technology, car making, and remain the center of American car making when we switch over to electric vehicles.
Yeah, I'm curious how that will pan out in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, and then we get some.
I'm
climate
not saying
stuff.
this is going to be it, you know, but
we got some climate stuff
some
too.
better alternatives, but
we got some climate stuff where they think that Michigan will be in the next 20 years will be popular due to climate change in Texas and Florida and Louisiana, places like that. I'll try to bring up maybe I'll try to post an article about it. There was just an article done on it last week. Now, do I think that's right now? But no. But do I think my kids or grandkids could benefit from it? Probably.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way that I'm going with it. LA was a nightmare. People don't remember. If you're an older person, you remember. If you're older, if you're like 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're watching this show, those fucking cities were like on fire. No one wanted to live there. Detroit is very similar to those cities. If like you know how you like you see people today like, well, I want my like you're like, hey boomer, I want to be able to afford a house. So you ask a young person, okay, where do you want to live? And they're like, I want to live in Santa Monica, or I want to live in New York and Manhattan with affordable rent. And I'm like, well, you could have back in the 70s and 80s, but I can assure you that no one wanted to live there.
Hey, I'll be right back.
Go ahead, man. No worries.
Yeah?
Do your thing. Do your thing.
1 second.
I'm going to hang up with you. No worries, brother. All right, so we're going to end the call here. Let me give it a 5-star rating there. We're watching Price Park down here on the hourly and daily trigger. Let's get back to what some of you guys are saying in the chat. So yeah, like some of those cities were like really bad. Like my father moved us to Boston, to the city of Boston, in the early 1980s, and it is not the same city that it was at that time in any way, shape, or form. And then I went and worked in New York. I did my externship for college in New York City, and New York City was just starting to become nice, quote unquote, or hipsterized or hipsterfied. Hookers and cocaine in every corner in the 80s. I'm long here, by the way, calls, if you want to know. Boulder, yeah. That's one thing I'll give to the West. I got to say it. Like, so a lot of my adult years have been living in the West, and bike culture out West is fucking awesome. The only place that I didn't like bike culture was California. California, there's bike culture there, but it's still super dangerous. Matter of fact, I got hit by a car once riding my bike in LA. got rolled off my bike at a stop sign one day. I don't know who the Catholic lady is. I'm not from Detroit. I'm kind of a sycophant here in Detroit. I'm liked and then I'm not liked on this. It's like, it's fucked up. So last night I was reading I was reading I was reading a story in Our Conservative on Reddit, and people were just making blanket statements about Dearborn, Michigan, and I was like, yeah, some of that's right, but a lot of what you're saying is not right. Like people in person and stuff is, how do you know somebody in person is completely different than what your real experiences are with them. So right here, this is gonna kind of be this kind of like my. Let's take a look at this really quick. It's 2:29, 2:30 in the afternoon. Let's go to the Weeble chart really quick. So right here, I ended up buying this up here. I think I bought this one right here. Got sold down, bought a little bit here, bought a bunch more right here. And this is kind of it, right? This is kind of like the place. You don't want to be giving this up down here. I'm not personally believing that we're done going up into the end of the week. We'll look at that right now, though, and see if this is a place to buy. Because if we do begin to reject this stuff, if we do begin to reject this stuff down here, we'll likely find a low into the rest of this week, right? So I don't want to see this break down below the hourly trigger. I don't want to see the price break down below the daily trigger. I want to see price continue up into the end of the week. So I don't want, if we do begin to see this breakdown down here, begin to see this kind of stuff down here, this kind of nonsense, I'll start getting bearish. Anything below that hourly and daily trigger. And man, I'll tell you what, it's right down here. You see that? I want to show you that last gap down here. You see that gap? There's a small gap right here. Small gap right there. And there's a small gap right in here. So two gaps, one right here and a gap lower down there. So I don't know if they're trying to close those out or not. If they do begin to close those out, I'll start getting bearish with you. That up. Yeah, no worries, David. I just ended the call, man. It's no big deal, brother. It was nice having you on. We'll keep having you on here in the show. I don't know if did that movie take place in the early 90s, that Nick Cage movie? I watched that movie once. Let's check the 30-minute chart on SPOOs and check that hourly. Let's check that hourly velocity and see where it's at. Yeah, SPY hourly velocity is still not looking too pretty here. I always want to see that velocity of the downside, still not seeing it. Even down here, you didn't catch that. Even with that pullback down here, didn't catch that velo to the downside. So velo's telling you got more down to count, more down to go on velocity, at least the hourly velocity. VIX with a little bit of a rollover here. 1 minute or 1 hour chart on HYG shows the dip was bought in the last hour on HYG. Dixie with a little bit of roll on it. NDX looking very bearish here, believe it or not. NASDAQ not looking healthy at all. Looking very unhealthy to the downside. Tesla looking not good, not bad, just neutral. Apple looking pretty fucking bad. They've got their second roll coming up right now. So NASDAQ and Apple looking very sick, even with the roll in VIX right now. Looking pretty sickly on Apple, looking pretty sickly on NDX. HYG, though, showing a different way. They're telling you, no, this looks like bottom. 2:32 in the afternoon. Let's go over and do a weekly outlook here. Give me one quick second here. We also have some earnings coming up. Let's talk about earnings really quick. And show that. Hold on. What is going on here? I got some wonkiness going on here. Hold on here. What is going on here? Come on now. Nope. So for Tuesday, hold on here. A little bit closer here. Excuse me. For Wednesday, we've got Tesla earnings, Netflix, Procter & Gamble, ASML, Alcoa, Morgan Stanley, Abbott, Lamb, and U.S. Bank Corp. So some heavy hitters coming in on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we've got ATT, TSMC, American Airlines, KeyBank. We got Nokia. Who else we got there? That's pretty much the big ones. We got Amex on Comerica and Huntington on Friday. So the big heavy hitters on Wednesday, expected to come in tomorrow. We'll take a look at Tesla and Netflix at the end of the day today, and I'll try to. How about this? From today, I'll do an update into the close on Netflix and Tesla. I'll do the same thing tomorrow, so that we can chart out what to expect next week on those as well. Yeah. Oh, by the way, David, what's your handle on Twitter? David, what's your handle on Twitter so people can follow you, brother? Johnny Mogs is saying that Detroit bottomed 1974 to 1990. Yeah, I was trying to say that it started to turn around in 2000. Do you disagree with that, Johnny, or do you think it started coming back before 2000 in Detroit or not? Johnny actually knows a lot about Detroit. Yeah, what's your exact handle on Twitter so I can post it for people here? David. David looks like Roger Federer. Yeah, no doubt, right? Let me see if I can. All right, all of this. While we wait for David AMS, let's take a look at the week here. All right, so right here. Get that big fat boy hold on a second here. A 15-minute chart. Let's extend that up. That's that grind higher, right? That's that expectation that we trade up into Friday and tag that 440. We also have that 451. We have that 445 and that 451. So we've got this one up here, this big gap needs filled, and then this 445 up here too. So not just that 440. My thesis here is that they won't park this exactly at 440 on Friday. They might, but it always seems to me like they'll squeeze up, take that stuff out, and then come back down and park it into that 440 for that Friday. So that's what I'm kind of gunning for here, is that they go even higher. We still have, it's like today's Tuesday. We got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday that could send us up there. And I want to see that 451 trade up into Friday. But right now, we're tracking that 444.0 into the close of Friday for end of month. We tagged it here yesterday. They sold it. We tagged it here. They sold it. And we're finding buyers down below. And hopefully these buyers are still here to the downside. We're still above the daily and the month and the hourly trigger. So the bulls are in control here to send this higher. So just into tomorrow and let's say it's Tuesday, but Wednesday and then Thursday volatility in here. Whoop, hold on here. That was the post market sellers down there. So just into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Upside target for tomorrow. I'm on the bulls side here, so as long as price stays above the hourly trigger, I still have that target right there. So this is still your target. Boop. So I can make this large here. if you want to screenshot this. Now, there is something to be said here that I want to keep you in tune with, which is the half-hour velocity is not on bull side. Or excuse me, the half-hour velocity is on the bull side, and price is on the bull side. So price on bull side, half-hour velocity on bull side. The daily velocity is on bull side. Daily velo doesn't actually need to come down. It can stay elevated for that move higher. There's no requirement that it goes to minus 25, minus 50, especially if we're having a rounding in daily velocity. And you can see that rounding in the daily right there. So the expectation is here we grind up minimum into 440.40 into Friday. Now, there is a possibility we could at some point still see that weakness and watch that gap get filled in the weekly here. So just be really careful of that gap down there. If you're really looking for like the extreme, hey, this is my chance to catch a low. It is down below. You can see it right here. There's a gap right here, and there's a small gap over here that hasn't been filled yet. Tiny little gap back here on 433.34 or so, somewhere in here. There's a teeny tiny gap. But this gap right here has not been filled. So if you're like, hey, Cap, I want to be more conservative in my dip buy and that kind of stuff, it's probably down there. If not, price is above the daily and the weekly. The expectation is that we push higher. So I got some 0-day calls here. I'm probably going to get some weeklies right now as well. I'm going to add to my position. So I've got 438s for today. They're worthless. They're like pennies. And I'm going to add some in-the-money calls for Friday. Yeah, maybe not in the money. The 440s are $1.03. Now I'm long 438 for today, and I've got 440 Cs for Friday, for October 20th. So maybe you can take a snapshot of that at home, and you can see the expectation here. If we have a break of, if we have a breakdown of price on the daily trigger, this is more exaggeration. But this is where you buy the dip. You do buy the dip here. This is the place to buy the dip to go up into 444 on Friday. If we do begin to lose the hourly and daily, though, right here, you do want to take this trade to the downside to close that downside gap. So you can snap that from at home and keep this on you. If you want to see some kind of like vicious downside move, maybe that helps you out. All right, I'm going to get rid of this stuff now. Take a snip at home so you have that. I am bullish here into that 444, however long that takes. If it's tomorrow, if it's today, if it's up here, and I still think you have available the 445 and the 451. You guys saw the gamma charts from earlier. You saw the gamma charts from this morning. Go back to a 1-minute chart here. Yeah, Mr. Talking Monkey, man. I remember the fog. I remember that fog, the smog in LA in early 2000s. I remember it was pretty bad. It was like just starting to clear up, and then it was just starting to clear up when I lived in Santa Monica. Oh, David, looks like you got a fan club. You got people thinking that you're hot, bro. Yeah, so Comerica opened up in April 2000. When did they open up the Red Wings, where they play? That didn't open until recently, right? That was more recent. Yeah, go Lions, by the way. I agree with that. Hillbilly saying, we'll have a negative divergence with McClellan oscillators and SPX on daily with any close down here. Yeah, Hillbilly, there is that aspect here, right? I was looking at that. We're an inside day too, aren't we? Are we currently in an inside day right now, brother? And the seasonality chart kind of says that it's do or die here. Like the moment that we die on this, we're going down. Did you guys get to see that earlier? Let me bring up that seasonality chart again. Give me a second here. Yeah, this season, if you can see this from home here. This seasonality chart, if you're watching, so I've got this grid marks here. It gives actually trading days. So this one there's one right here. And it kind of peaks out right there. I think that this is Friday here. And you get like after Friday consolidation. This is the 200. This is 201 here. And then consolidation into the 213th trading day. So you've got like a 201 to 213. These are actual sessions. Doesn't account for the weekends. So we should see some kind of a roll here heading into Friday. Let me see if I can switch back over here. See if we can go back on a 15-minute here. So remember these previous lows down here, okay? So seasonally, what they're saying is going to happen is we got, what, 13 sessions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you guys can see all that. Seasonality is saying, now, seasonality can be wrong. We know that, right? You don't trust seasonality. It's not guaranteed that we go there. But what it's saying is that we should go up into this 444 or higher, right? You get an extension of some kind. You get that 440 or the 445 or 451, doesn't matter. It's somewhere up in here. And then we trade down into this previous low right here and close these gaps up. And that would be your next dip buy. So that puts us at November 7th. So if we go up here into this monthly OPEX, then we trade down and close this gap and retest this prior low. This would be your holiday rally dip buy. So if you are if you believe in the holiday rally, this would be it for you. Let me see if I can show it to you. So you guys want to snap that. Some kind of move up here, some kind of move down here. And then you'd have your holiday dip buy for December 29th at some point into next some point into like the 7th, about the 7th of did I get that right? The 7th maybe? Into the 7th or 10th of November. I wanted to speak to David earlier about, or more in depth about, that they know where the market's going to be before we get there. We had a long talk about that too. that's pre-planned to an extent. And that sounds crazy to you, but yeah, we'll have to talk about if the markets are not only rigged, but if they're like you can kind of figure out where, like they know where we're going. You kind of could tell that with that they were caught with their pants down with Israel and Gaza, right? They just kept fucking trading, kept trading their plan. Tuesdays are everyone likes to say turnaround Tuesday, right? So that you accumulate on Monday for up or down, and then Tuesday turns into the shaking your belief in which way we're actually headed. So they get all your stops on Tuesday. A simplified way of explaining that would be, if we're going up or down on Monday, right? So here's Monday. So if we're selling on Monday, if Monday becomes selling, they'll make you think that we're going up and recovering and then blast you down the rest of the week. Same thing, you'd accumulate buy the market on Monday, come down here and make you get really scared that we're going down, take your stops out, and the market actually heads higher. And that's where the manipulation is on Tuesdays. Can I explain the tweet being approached by a hedge fund? Yeah, I was approached by a hedge fund. They approached a friend of mine to ask me about possibly teaming up together. So I don't want to talk too much about the details as there's no guarantee that it's going to happen. Dude, they're bloodbathing this right now in the 1 minute. Look at this shit. Panic at the Disco. Look at that shit. Woof. The hedge fund thing is, the idea here would be that we do training right now inside of our Discord, and we're launching, when we launch the website, we're also launching a training program. So we teach you how to trade, right? And we track your wins and your losses, make sure that you're a winning trader and all that kind of stuff. And then we have you, if you want, you can trade with this hedge fund. And if you're actually any good, they actually will hire you, believe it or not, to trade with them. So I'll leave it at that, because we haven't discussed it to this point, to that point, details and stuff. But they did approach, and so we're gonna try to put a meeting together with these guys and see if we can do that with them, work with them. Yeah, I'm still long here. I'm long for the weekend. I'm not buying this at all. I'm not buying any of this drama. All this emotion that's going on. My thesis is up into the end. I believe, well, the dealers don't want that to happen, right? Dealers don't want to see that 440 into OPEX. They don't mind if you get it after OPEX, but they don't want to see it because of that large group of calls up there. But it's just calling for those bad boys to get printed. It's just begging for them to get printed. Thanks, Stacy. Appreciate the like button. Yeah, there'll be like a wait till you guys see it. It should be pretty cool. So the idea here would be is that you get the tools, you get the training, you get if you get to a certain point where we can show that your accounts. So we have people that we teach right now, and they all have green accounts. Every single one of them. Every single one of them does. So we can get you to be green, right? You can prove that you're green. We do a trade log with you, and you're like, hey, I want to be a professional. We're going to send you to those guys and see what they say, see if they can help you out. And then you can trade some other cool stuff, too. You can trade their money, so you're not trading your own money. You're not blowing your accounts up, all that kind of stuff. We'll see what they say. Yeah, I think anybody can. The one fascinating thing, too, is I was talking to the intermediary on Friday, and you wouldn't be surprised as how many people can't do it. It's like only 1 out of every 100 people. It's not that many people that can do it. Getting a reversal here right now on the daily pivot. Parked on the daily trigger right now. Don't want to see that break underneath that daily trigger. Could get pretty fucking bearish in here, so I'm paying attention to this right here. See if they're going to try to sell this on us. If they break that daily trigger, this will trigger stops for me, so I got to be really careful here. They are trying to blood it, man. Woof. Trying to blood it right now. Give me one quick second. I got to take I got some missed phone calls here. Give me one quick second. So these are the calls that I get all day long. You want to hear it? Let me show you guys what I get all day long. It's these stupid fucking phone calls right here. Like unknown number. Let me see if I can hear this. No, it's not answering. Hold on, let me see. Hello? Who is this? Yes? Mr. who? Mr. Rudney. Nope. Okay, so hold on a second here. Hold on. Say, so you want to know if I'm Mr. Rudney? Say something louder. I want to get you on the microphone.
What?
Say something. Say yes or no.
Yes or no for what?
Oh, I've got you on microphone here. I'm letting 5,000 people listen to you right now. Where are you calling from?
Are you interested in selling your property or not?
Oh, why are you calling? Did I call you to sell my property?
No, I'm just asking.
Oh, who are you with? What's the name of the company?
Local home buyer. It's Home Buyer Inc.
Home Buyer Inc.
Yeah.
Do you want to sell your house to me?
No, I'm not interested.
Why
okay,
not?
bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. No. I don't fucking know. I have a rejection right now. We were sitting on hourly trigger, now underneath the half-hour trigger and on the daily trigger here. Underneath the hourly trigger, this is looking pretty fucking bearish here. And hourly velocity is maxed out right now, so I'm kind of scared here. I'm serious. Like, what is with these fucking phone calls? Why are you calling me? Did I call you? Like, I don't know. Did it, like, I don't know. Do you want to sell your home? No. Yeah, it looks like a flush, doesn't it? I'm panicking here. I've got some calls for Friday right now, so I'm watching them closely. What I don't want to see is, I don't want to see this right here. Do not want to see this. I'm going to get stopped out if we get a rejection here. I know. I'm like, why are you calling me? Like, why are you calling me in the middle of the day? What for? And it's to sell a home. And they don't have the right name either. So Maybe they'll put me on the do not call list. Let's bring this down to the 1 minute here. HYG still looking like dog shit right now. VIX still looking pretty fucking bullish here. VIX looks like it wants to go up and trade higher. So I'm sitting here watching. I bought some fucking calls down here, and I'm still sitting on them for Friday. I've got some dead calls for the end of the day right now here. I'm kind of sweating bullets. It's Tuesday. Talk about manipulation Tuesdays, right? To get you all bared up or bulled up. And they reverse the rest of the week to the upside or downside. Apple looking very bearish right now. Dixie looking very bullish right now. So not looking good, right? Matter of fact, NDX has a double. On a 5-minute chart, NDX has a double bear cross to the downside. That never looks good as well, right? So NASDAQ looking extremely bearish. Apple looking extremely bearish. VIX ripping off to new highs right now. VIX trading $18.31. HYG been bleeding out for 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions. HYG, even with market going higher the last 2 sessions, HYG telling you do not trust the stock market to look for the downside on SPX. So we do have a large divergence in HYG and SPX, even in price right now. So be very careful if you are a bull here for a bloodbath into this close. We do have some downside targets for some gaps to fill. Those are down at S3 at 430.45. You can see them right here in this bottom chart down below if you want to see them. You can see this gap that is yet to be filled down here. Still unfilled. So I'm kind of panicking, looking to see if they're going to actually bloodbath this down, downside, and can clear up all that gappage down below. So we'll see how that goes. Slide that over so you can see the actual bars. You know, Big Balls, what I would say to you, he tried to get into it, but I think was a couple things here. First of all, we have to do segments on each one of these concepts and then package them all together for you guys to digest. But the idea here would be to go on SPX or ES, the 24-hour options for ES, and start marking those the closing number on SPX or ES and the opening number on ES, and start tracking them week in, week out, and see what you can extrapolate from that. What I think he's doing is he's taking that, whatever that closing number is, an opening number, and then looking previous week and finding a range, whatever the high lows are, above and below from every week prior from that point, and then trading that zone. $11 minutes left here. These sellers needed this. These fucking sellers, they needed that right there. They needed that rejection on the hourly trigger down here. Didn't get it so far. Not looking good for the bears here, for the sellers. Seller panic into the close here. So definitely seller panic here, guaranteed. Get out of the way if you're a seller. I'm going to buy some more calls here. Hold on. More 0 dates. I got 436 Cs for today. I got 438 Cs for today. I got 440 Cs for Friday. So I'm getting pretty fucking bulled up here. This yellow line is only a pivot line right now. Let's bring up our 1-2 right over there. This is your 1 hour pivot point down here. That lost level. I'm calling him out here. I don't believe him here. I'm not buying these bears, this bullshit from these sellers. And these dealers trying to murder these options before they go to 440. Yeah, I'm bullish here. I'm fucking bullish. I'm bullish more, you know, my bullishness comes more from the spreads that are out there for the banks. That has nothing to do with market dynamics, nothing like that. It's just they've got a shit ton of calls that you to print. So they usually, like, not usually, but if you have a complex spread in the market, they'll like print those fucking calls like last 15 minutes of Friday, like swoop right up into it, swoop right down into it, and so that's what I'm trading here. All right, what else I got here? Let's look at let me do Tesla and Netflix into tomorrow. Let's do a big Tesla. Give me one quick second right now. All right, send that one right there. Give me one quick second here, guys. Got a couple of things I got to do this in the background. I got to look at the current. Where's Netflix? NFLX. NFLX. No, I'm looking for their ER shit. Earnings. Expected move minus or plus 7.1%. Let's take a look at where's the trigger screen? Okay, right there. NFLX, we charted this out on Friday. So this is Netflix right here. I talked to you about what I wanted to see on. You guys remember that this is Netflix from Friday. We talked about on Friday the squeeze up and then sell it, and attempt to get Netflix down. What I want to see Netflix do, I really want to see Netflix trade this bottom number down here. And I really want to buy Netflix down here. I want to actually buy Netflix. So this is more a function of my greed. Nothing's really changed here, right? Came up and then right back down. Can we go higher, though? It can. Can Netflix go higher from here in end of week into Wednesday? Can they ramp up into Wednesday or not? Sure. You get above 358.85, and I'll say yes to you. You can get above and hold 385.85 on But man, these sellers are here. You see this right here? I want to show you something here. So see these sellers here at Netflix? The sellers are right here at Netflix. You would need on Netflix to get that new high right there, right? And something like that. I'd entertain Netflix. I would entertain Netflix right here. This could be the low on Netflix, though. Buyers here, buyers here, buyers here. So it kind of looks like sideways, right? Kind of looks like they're going to pin this. Doesn't it? Looks like they're going to pin this right into, ping pong it, right into their ER report on Wednesday. If they give this up here today, if you see this get given up here today into Wednesday, your downside target remains at 327.24. And what else is fascinating, too, is that 7% is right here. So that 7% expectation. Parking it, kind of gives you that, kind of gives you that right there, right? So Netflix just being, they're parking the bus. I'll say that to you. They're parking the bus on Netflix. This is probably a tradable zone for you. I'd say, like, you're above this, you're bullish. But the reality is you're probably trading this bullshit right here. Probably trading this this zone in here. Man, you should be like, what the greatest trade, the best trade right now for Netflix is fucking something that you just exit. You just exit this right before ER. You just let all this nonsense happen. Let them ping pong it up in here, and then you get your after move. I want you all to know that I am bullish on Netflix into their ER. My preference is to buy down here at this 320. Somewhere down in there. I'm actually very bullish on Netflix, believe it or not. I know a lot of you are not. We'll look at Tesla really quick. Just kind of bouncing around, right? Bouncing. They're parking the fucking bus on this one too, aren't they? Didn't get any of this. No break above. Sold down, right? No break above here either. That got sold, so that becomes null and void. And right now, they just keep pinning it, right? So no action on Tesla. Comes down, comes back up, sold no, told no, right? Told yes. So you've got demand down here. You've got sellers parking their ass right here, trying to park the bus on Tesla. We do know something from Tesla, though, and that is that it tends to follow its trend. So Tesla I'm a little less bullish on. I think even if they do get their squeeze, this is all beautiful right here, by the way, for a nice squeeze higher. So Tesla, I kind of like it to 262, 263. But even saying that, on their ER date, I'm going to be serious with you. I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for in there. I'm going to show you what I'm looking for. On their earnings date, on Wednesday, what I would like to see, what I'm hoping for is you get that one right there into earnings, and then you get, I don't care if it even goes up there. I don't even care. I'm hoping for that by Friday or Monday of next week. This is what I want to buy is down here. I want to buy that shit. So however long it takes us to get down there to that 238. I'm actually getting a little bit more bullish here on Tesla, but this is all good structurally. This all looks good. But I still want to be buying Tesla down here. I want to buy Tesla at 236. But Tesla looks bullish here. I'm not going to lie to you. This looks bullish. This is looking good. Tesla's looking sexy. It's looking sexy. The only thing I can say about this is you're probably locked in here. You're probably going to get pinged. Something like that on a Wednesday. Then you get your decision. You know, even if it's bullish, dude, I think it comes back down. So leave that right there. We'll leave that right there for Tesla. Let's look at Tesla's Velo right now. Yeah, I'm bearish on Tesla, man. I shouldn't be, but I am. I don't know why I'm so bearish. I do know why I'm so bearish, but I am. I'm bearish. Or sell the news. Maybe it's not quite bearishness. You know what it is? It's that same fucking thing with the banks. It's that thing where it's like, even if they're how about this? Let me rephrase what I wanted to say about Tesla. I'm not completely bearish on Tesla. It's more like if it squeezes, expect profit taking after Friday. So let's say they have a bullish report on Tesla, it goes up. It won't hold, is my point. It's not going to hold. Whatever happens on Tesla, if it's positive, I don't think that it holds. I think it's to take the money and run. I don't see it holding. Hold me to that on Friday. I'd like to know, hold me to that on like Monday. I want to know on Monday. I want to know on Monday if, so if Tesla's a good report, right? My thesis here is that it does not hold into Monday, that it would be sold into. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that, and we'll revisit it. Matter of fact, I've got a bunch of revisits on. I wrote back. Let's look back at some of the picks I had last week for banks. I wrote a bunch of picks. Let me take a look at some of them and see what I said. So I said I was bullish on UNH and sell the news. Let's see here. So you ready? Here's UNH. I said I'm bullish on UNH and sell the news. What else did I say? PNC, I was bearish. So let's take a look at some of my picks here. I was bearish on PNC. Yeah, they did okay. UNH, their ER was when? Not showing on this one, but it's looked like sell the news on that one. Wells Fargo, I was bullish on. Oh, sold the fuck out of that one, right? I didn't say sell the news on this one, did I? I just said I was bullish. What did I say for, let's look at Wells Fargo. I think I charted this one out. Did I chart this one out? Maybe I didn't. I thought I charted Wells Fargo out. But they sold up, and they sold their monthly like it was nobody's business. And they're making another attack for the upside right now. There's like revisiting these things and finding out. What else did I look at? JPM I was neutral on. Looks kind of neutral here too. JPM looks neutral to me. And then one nice rip of 153, and then they went flat. BAC I was bullish on. They went up, and now they're kind of like sideways. They took the money and ran too. And Citibank I was bullish on. Citibank went up cranking. Citibank was sexy, man. So not too bad. Pretty close to what the expectations were on banks, or at least the ones that have reported at this point. Nothing like out of the norm. Or I remember we were coming into those earnings and people were extremely bearish. And I think the same thing holds true for a lot of these earnings. I think a lot of these earnings, as we run into them, because we've sold down into them, I think we're going to get some surprise reports that should do well for individual tickers, but maybe not the stock market. So like where the indexes don't react to this stuff. And then the other aspect we talked about last week on Friday was sell the news on any of these good reports. So what you end up doing is like you get two separate markets. You get the indexes trading where they're trading, and then you get individual tickers. If we're selling down into their ERs, that those tickers should explode to the upside, but you take the money and run off them. Tesla's looking like that to me. Tesla looks like any good news, you'll take the money and run off of it. So that has kind of worked itself out for all of these bank stocks except for Citibank. So I think, I think the idea here would be that a trader and investor is going to think to themselves, well, if all of these reports come back great, the entire market should raise, and we should keep pumping, right? And this looks more like, hey, we sold down on these earnings. We know like 60 to 70% are going to meet or beat expectations. And if we're selling down to their earnings, they should go up, but it doesn't necessarily translate into SPOOs at 480, does it? It's more like, yeah, all right, it's been awesome. I'm going to take my money. I'm going to exit here. And so I'd be wary of that heading into this season, this earnings season. Yeah, it's like take the money and run. I think we talked about that on Friday. Was a lot of these setups are looking like that. Like a lot of these ERs have like, hey, it's bullish. You know, like fuck yeah, you buy this because it's gonna be bullish. But they're gonna take the money and run before you ever get back to close your shit on the following day at 9:30. That's what it looks like to me. Now Netflix can run, and as a matter of fact, Netflix, Tesla tends. I showed you this on Friday, right? Tesla will tend to trade will tend to, on its ER, trade its major trend, regardless of what their ER is. So if you're looking at like a half-hour chart or a one-day chart, if they're going down, they'll continue going down. If they're going up, they'll continue going up, even on a bad ER. You might sell the ER and then it gets bought and keeps heading higher. Netflix can most definitely change direction. Netflix is fucking wild. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you go onto Google and search out options.ai, spacebar earnings, and then look at Tesla and Netflix, they give you the history. I'll bring it up right now. Give me a second. I'll bring it up and show you real quick. Kind of a fascinating thing. Nobody really talks about this. Let me show you this real quick. It's kind of neat. Hold on here. You want to see something cool? So we looked at this on. Can I just bring this up for you? I'll post a link to this. Now I don't trade with these guys, so I don't have any relationship with these guys. They offered me a relationship. I never responded. Not because I don't like them. I don't have any sponsors. I don't take sponsors. But I want you to look at this earnings calendar here at home. And if you look at, I'm going to bring it up on the lower chart down here. So this is what you should be looking at home. And if you search, if you bring your cursor down here and you click on Wednesday. We'll click on Netflix first, and I want to show you something about Netflix. So I just clicked on Netflix, and what's really cool about this thing here is it shows you Netflix can like reverse direction. If you watch their prior ERs, you can go back as far as you want. And they can reverse direction or amplify a move to the upside. I don't know why it's so special. I don't know why it's Netflix, but Netflix can do that. If you use the back button and then you check on Tesla for Wednesday here. Let me see if I can find Tesla in here. And it's not on here, but if you do type in Tesla up here in this middle box, their earnings tell a different story. Their earnings tend to stay on trend. Reversal of trend, any of that kind of stuff. Top of trend, back down. Stay on trend, stay on trend. Reversal is already happening on Tesla, so if we're starting to reverse to the upside or more leg down, we're trending upwards. So take a look at those two tickers and see if you can take anything away from those two tickers. Like large amplified moves on Netflix, Tesla, not so much. So if Tesla's making a bottom, expect it to keep making that bottom. If Tesla's starting to roll over, expect it to start rolling over. If Tesla's in the middle of of up or down trend on a 30-minute chart, expect it to stay in that trend. Tends to stay in its trend. Netflix, on the other hand, fucking crazy moves. So I'm looking at that Netflix and I'm like, man, give me that lower number. Give me that 320, whatever that 325 is or whatever. Give me that like that bloodbath down and let me buy that bottom for a huge rip higher. And Tesla specifically, I'm not much of a Tesla trader through their earnings. I've been known to trade through their earnings, but I really like trading Tesla after their ER date and on their option expiry. Either the day of their option expiry or the day after, grabbing some calls or puts. The dealers love to take all your money on Tesla, so they like to give you the opportunity to play and then steal all your thunder. No, I think Tesla trades on 1 hour daily velocity. When daily velocity on Tesla is in the dumpster, it's time to go on it. It trades daily velocity like nobody's business. Yeah, Tesla daily velocity. That's always what you want to be looking for, is like minus 50, minus 25, minus 50, and you're a fucking bull every time. Every single time. Can't say that for all of the tickers, but Tesla specifically, yes. Daily velocity. Trades on daily trend, not hourly trend. Let me look at AA for you real quick. Take a look at AA for you. Hold on. I know you guys like yourself some Alcoa. Bullish. Bullish in Alcoa. I'm bullish on Alcoa. Should have bought that dip earlier today. I am bullish on Alcoa. So that's that dip buy this morning, right down there. Trade that bad boy right there. Get pinned for your ER, and then right there, $33. I'm bullish on Alcoa here. I'm bullish. I'm bullish into their ER too. Yeah, I remember that too with Alcoa. Yeah, I'm bullish on them. I'm bullish to $32. Let me look at their what's their ER saying. Let me look at their anticipated move here. So their expected move is 6%, and their expected move is 29.43. So I said 31 and change, right? Expected upside move 29 and 43. Expected downside move $26. I don't think you can be a loser on that trade either way. I'd be interested in buying them down there too. You know, I'm looking at Alcoa, their ERs. It's always sell the news, sell the news, sell the news. No major moves afterwards. Here and there, you see some major moves afterwards. You know, this one right here, I'm looking at some of their previous ERs. Even when they go up, man, it's rare that they go up for it's like delayed. I wouldn't be trading calls or puts for like this expiry on Alcoa, whenever their closest expiry is. But like I would like Alcoa, like a call spread like a month or 3 months out seems like a trade. A month out or 3 month out Alcoa calls. I do not trade 0 dates. Well, not 0 dates, but next expiry on Alcoa. Make them a little bit farther out in time. Yeah, I like it. I just I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, they like to wait on that shit, right? Like a delayed move seems common on Alcoa. Let me look at Rivian really quick. How's my man Dollar Tree doing? Oh yeah, Dollar Tree. Oh yeah. So Dollar Tree just tagged first resistance at 115.74. So they just tagged it just now. We're going to quickly look at DLTR. So we started out with DLTR as the pick for the day. And we're going to take a look at it right now on a 30-minute trigger. So we've got the smash here on 115.71. You've got a gap up here between 119 and 121. If you still haven't traded this yet, maybe you can get a roll for a dip buy here. So be looking for, if you haven't traded DLTR yet, if you get a pullback, you might be able to jump in, hopefully down here, and pick this hourly trigger up. Look, maybe set a dip buy at 112.50, maybe 113 just to get juicy, because this could leave you behind too. Because the target up there is 121.12, and the second target is above here at. That's your second target right there, 130. So all's good right now. Nice trigger cluster down here. Beautiful. Looks sexy. So DLTR, talked about that this morning. We first came on the show before it happened. Worked out nicely. What else did you want me to look at? There was some other ticker that you wanted me to look at. Rivian. RIVN. Bullish here on Rivian, but you have a huge trap. Bullish here in Rivian. Daily's saying yes, bullish, but the hourly's a little long in the tooth, so you really don't have like a bullish trade. Let me show you this right here. So like these squeezes are always great, right? That didn't hold, did it? You're kind of looking for like consolidate, and start to head higher and get that hourly up there. They trapped you in here. Stops for right here. Needed stops right here. Stops right here. Like not bullish. And they're getting really tricky with these are intraday traders, dude. These day traders, they're good. They are good. Fucking Rivian trades like the Wild West. Like I'll give you this one right here. That's it. That's all I can give you. $20, 21, squeeze it up. Any squeeze above needs to, if it breaks above here, needs to like consolidate and start heading higher. You got that one right there. Bam, consolidate, bam. I mean, even so, I got to tell you something. This is not, I got to tell you, if this rejects up here, oof. If you do get this and you get into your ER and that cross happens there, it's going to be nasty town. Close all that shit down there. Like you cannot, if you reject this right here, if you reject this daily trigger, no bueno. Now, daily velocity is saying you're not going to reject that, but Be very careful of this cross down in here. Extremely careful of this cross. High volatility in here. You're messing around with algorithms, and you're probably messing around with a bunch of short sellers. When was the last time you saw that low? Yeah, that would be that whole fucking move going back to July down there, June. You don't want to give that up, huh? Trying not to give that up, that whole move. They're going to try to send you there, I can assure you of it. I'm interested at $13.50. Give me 13.5 and I'll take it. Set an alert at 13.5 if you're feeling kind of cheap on Rivian. Man, like that action on Rivian looks like for day traders. Rivian looks like fucking day trader central. Straight up. Looks like day trader central to me. Does not look like it trades based upon fundamentals in any way, shape, or form. Looks like just a bunch of motherfuckers fucking around. A bunch of funds fucking around trading Rivian. whole bunch of people just fucking around on that one. Okay, so Dollar Tree. You got that this morning. We're gonna go and look at another one for tomorrow. Hold on here. I don't like seeing that. Squeeze it up right now. Squeeze it on up right now. My 438s are shit. My 436s are still alive. My 440s are just doing just fine. They're down a little bit, but not too bad. Waiting for this close here to see what they do. If they do the creepy crawly up the wall, if they're actually fucking lying or not. You can see down below we've got an inverse head and shoulders down here in the weekly and daily, or the daily and hourly trigger. I'm going to expect this up move into tomorrow. So you guys know that I'm long into the close. We've got 5 minutes left until the bell. Let's see what they do here. I'm going to get stuck to 415 holding these fucking zero dates. Parking Tesla here into this close. HYG looking like dog shit into this close. Looking like a wounded pig. HYG telling you don't trust the squeeze up into the close right now. Still sitting in zero dates. See if I can catch this up into the bell for the 415. If they squeeze this up or not. Got Friday calls here as well. Got some dead calls for 438. Not a big position in that one. I've only got 30 calls on that one that went to shit. I'm gonna need a win on this one for sure. I want to see if I can take anything off this first 436 and get some of that money back from the dead calls on 438. Trade 19, trading 20 right now on those calls into the bell right now. 22 right now. I'm green finally. Fuck yeah. Very green right now. Oh, nope. Now I'm down. No, now I'm up to 20, 22 cents. Trading 21, 22 right here. Now trading 23, 24. Got a sell order in on these 436Cs. So we'll see if they, nope, no fill on those. Still sitting on them right now. All right, I'm going to see you guys on tomorrow. I don't have any appointments tomorrow. No doctor visits, no crap tomorrow. But I do have a bunch of upcoming doctor's appointments in the next coming weeks. So there will be some times where I'm unavailable, or when I go to these doctor's appointments, I don't know how I'm going to feel. Some of them, like, they're all in the morning or at late afternoon, like 7:30 in the morning and 9:30 in the morning and 4:30 in the afternoon. But I don't know how I'm going to feel when I leave. They don't tell me shit. And then when I leave, some days I felt like one of them I went to, I came back and I was fine. This past one was horrible. And then I don't know what the future ones hold for me in terms of being available or not. Still sitting in these fucking calls right now. Did not get a fill. I'll look forward to seeing you guys, and we'll be here for sure for Netflix and Tesla ER dates. Yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Can't wait to see you guys in the morning. Yeah, I would like to fucking buy Nike. I never bought Nike. I'd like to buy them. I got to look at them. I'd like to add that. Yeah, we'll do some synthetic trading for those tickers. Hopefully they sell the fuck down into those ERs so we can buy that close. That fucking close could be epic.